Hello, hello. Welcome everybody to another live stream. Another Friday. And although things have been crazy over here in terms of war, I do very much appreciate everyone who turns up every Friday. And I just think it's important to kind of stick to a routine. So, yeah, this is just a good sanity check in a way. Get some people to hang out, some people to converse with who are in different worlds than me. Owen, welcome. And, yeah, just, you know, disengage a little bit. Disengage a little bit from the war, even though the war is still going on. I just jumped on my alt real quick to reset my quest points over, or not my quest points, my daily quest log over here. And let me share this stream out. Get everyone in here. But I hope people are doing well. As the title says, we are on day 15 of this war that we're in. And it is not over. I can assure you that it is not over. You know, we're probably at the start of the fourth quarter in terms of how many troops, resources, and speed ups everyone has left. And I would imagine we're at the start of the fourth quarter mentally in terms of how much just mental energy people have left to fight this thing. But I think in terms of the actual map and in terms of the number of things that are still yet to happen in this war, I actually think we're just in the third quarter. I think we're still very much in the third quarter. But we'll get to that as the stream picks up. I'll go ahead and give everybody a map update. And I was actually planning to do some barb chaining. And I'm going to not really give too much away by doing the following. I'm going to take the Richard auxiliary off my Jan so that I can use the Richard in the field to chain with Zug. Doesn't mean that I can't put it back on if things kick off, but it's pretty quiet at the moment. And since I'm live streaming, that's totally fine with me. We'll do that. Actually, I'll just give this guy all my tier 5. Because if there's any tier 5 in the march, it'll walk slow, so I might as well. Cherry, welcome to the stream. Cherry, let me see if I can do this. The heart is blocking your name right now, but Cherry, I will give you mod in a second once the chat scrolls a little bit and I'm not getting blocked by the heart icon. Amira, welcome to the stream. Oliver, welcome to the stream. We want to fight too. Amira, what kingdom are you in? I'm going to just share this out in a couple of places. Pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the thumbnail on tonight's stream because it's you know, the Justinian character model is like really cool. And if you notice, like there's a lot of YouTubers who are using that Justinian character model for their thumbnails. But my Justinian thumbnail tonight has a Justinian double rally in the background. So I don't just use it as a character model. And by the way, I'm the one rallying in the thumbnail. So I don't just use it as a character model, but Justinian is the man. And and we'll talk about Justinian. I think Justinian is like a bit of a mixed bag. He's good, but part of me wishes I had built Huo instead, because I do think Huo is the better open field commander between Justinian and Huo. And I've only rallied with Justinian like four or five times in this KvK. So it might not have been worth it to build Justinian. It might have been better to build Huo and then be able to go straight to Lu Chi next. But Justinian is not without his charms as a rally leader. And because we're just fighting in this very competitive high-level A KvK, I think we're getting, very good, a very good sense of the meta. At least the meta in Siege of Orleans. I mean, it's probably a little bit different for Siege of Orleans because swarming is so prevalent. But I think it's pretty accurate to list how the game is as a whole. And I do think as the commanders go, I think the game is really balanced. Amir says 1903. Nice. You can see me on the ranking list on kill points. Yeah, Amir, your name is definitely familiar. Definitely familiar. So shout out to 1903. They're going to play a very big role for our team. Yeah, Amir's got some very nice stats. Amir, are you a new migrant to 1903? I didn't fight 1903 a ton last KvK. Your name was not like insanely familiar, and like when you have this many kills, I'm sure I would have noticed you if you were in 1903 last KvK. Are you a new migrant there? Yeah, 1903 are our allies. They won their zone 6. We lost our zone 6. We were outnumbered 1 versus 2. I mean, we still have a little bit. Do we still have anything left here? Yeah, we still have a couple forts. But they're going down. Yeah, they're going down. We defended this fort quite a bit last night and got some very good trades. Oh, Amir, you were there last time. Okay. I was in prison too when 1818 dropped a big fort. Oh, yeah. Okay. You were the person that was imprisoned when they did that fort drop. Yeah, I remember that. Yep. Yeah, that was over here. That was right around here. I think Amira must have gotten imprisoned right around here. But we didn't really do any damage. Yeah, that was kind of like 1818's last gasp before Kingsland. Oliver says, see you in KL. Oliver, I will see everyone in KL. I honestly think this is going to be one of the most exciting KLs that I've ever been a part of, I guess you could say. Although we're mostly unfortunately going to be observers of this KL because we're not going to be there. We're not going to have any passes. But I'm like very curious to see how this Kingsland goes. It feels like about a 50-50 to me. I think some of my teammates are very optimistic for our side. But I just look at how many whales still have plenty of power in 1393. I'm aware of the fact that 2217, they still bring out a very good field presence. I think that they are limited with their rallies. They're very hesitant to do rallies that are not positive for them. So, I mean, I think 2217 is very sort of aware of not taking a lot of deads at this point because they want to maintain their open field. I can probably show you what... They're kind of spread out right now, so maybe they're not all here. Yeah, they're not all here. Let's see. Maybe they're in JL17. Yeah, 2217 is like very spread out right now. But you can see that they're all right around, like a lot of their key players are all right around like 70 million power, right? So like Paco, Bear, Fatty, Sneaky, Demon. There's a bunch of others. Leavitz, Ziffy. They're all like right around 70 million power, and so they currently have enough to field all their marches in the open field, but they just don't want to take any further deads. But I mean, the enemy is still strong, and so it's hard for me to give our side better than a 50% chance. But my teammates are just saying like, because I was very focused on 1903 and 1020. Like I was very focused as far as like our chances on what 1903 and 1020 are able to do, but I just wasn't really aware of how strong 2313 is. Because they're in La Marche and their campmates don't fight, so they did lose their zone 5, but they have like a lot of very big players, and they did a very good job of winning this zone. I mean, they won terrain very convincingly within 24 hours. So my teammates are like thinking we have a very good chance just because we've worn down our opponents significantly. Whereas our allies, although they have fought quite a bit, are still pretty fresh. So, I mean, it's going to be a very... Mappa says 51% chance. Yeah, Mappa says 51% chance. Barney says 51% chance. So they have us as the favorites. Which is all that matters, right? As long as you're the favorite, then you have to just like be super happy and optimistic. It doesn't matter if you're a 51% favorite or a 90% favorite. You're just the favorite regardless. Is that how logic works these days? Let me share this stream out a few other places. Let me get the 1 or 2 additional viewers I get from sharing this in from the official why can't I spell Orleans? There we go. From the official Rise of Kingdoms Discord. And I'll say something in Lost Kingdom chat as well. All right, Sherry, let me give you moderator. With great power comes really no responsibility, Cherry, but knock on wood, if anybody ever gets out of hand in here, it'll be good to have a few mods to police things. Because obviously sometimes I don't pay attention to the chat when I sort of get away with my thoughts. Amira says I was a scary in prison. I thought I was gone there. Yeah, you were definitely surrounded by enemies. You were definitely surrounded by enemies. Wade says, put me in on commentary and I'm down. Wade, I've been trying to get it to work. I've been trying to get Discord voice chat to work where everything works just fine. But I just have not been able to get it to work right. Where I could have guests on voice chat. Yeah, I'm still working on that one. But I'll leave the Lost Kingdom chat open here, so if anybody wants to have their name on the stream, just go ahead and talk amongst yourselves in Lost Kingdom chat, and I will be happy to talk with anybody in the YouTube chat. Jetty, welcome to the stream. Jetty asks, why no videos? You're my favorite ROK YouTuber. Yeah, Jetty, I mean, I've just been busy, man. I mean, this war has been crazy. This war has been absolutely crazy. And, I just have not had time to do any videos lately, but as soon as this war wraps up, I think I'm going to make a lot of videos. I'm certainly very motivated for YouTube. I have a lot of videos that I need to make for multiple wars, but I've just not had the time in the last couple of weeks. It's been an absolute crazy war where I've been on fighting for many hours. I played for 24 hours straight when the level 6 passes opened, and then crashed, which was nice. I played for 24 hours. I slept for 3 hours. I was planning to go back to sleep, but I saw that the enemy had done a fort drop, and that we were mobilizing to try to combat their fort drop. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll get out of bed and fight. And then I ended up staying up like pretty much, I don't know, almost all night last night after that, and did not get my work done. I let down my boss by not getting my work done. And I saw Malik say in Lost Kingdom chat, time to trash talk 2217 again. But Malik, you calmed me down earlier because somebody, my friend Effie, she showed me you saying that I was the second best YouTuber after Chisgul. And so that was a very nice thing to say. It actually made me feel very good, so that calmed me down a little bit on the trash talk. Yeah, make sure nobody gets out of line. Gypsy Danger, welcome to the stream. Gypsy Danger hit me with a pretty rough double rally last night. The Justinian double rally. Like I said, we'll definitely talk about Justinian on this stream. I mean, I guess we can start getting into it. I'll show you the double. I'll show you the double that I took last night. Yeah, so I took 2. The first one they didn't time very well. And I did okay, right? You know, it was very interesting because they hadn't rallied us for like 3 or 4 hours while they were setting up the double rally, and so we just didn't know like what kind of rains we were gonna get, right? It was just very, you just don't know. Like after 5 hours of nothing happening, you don't know what kind of rains you're gonna get. But the rains were pretty good actually. So I took the first double well. I took the first double well because Gypsy's rally got there much later than Chris's rally did. But then they timed it much better the second time. Our rains were a little bit lower. And yeah, this one hurt. This double hurt. I mean, doubles are supposed to hurt, and this one did. You know, I did okay against the Henry Zug, which was tanking. But then the Justinian Nevsky absolutely wrecked me as the non-tanking, damage-doing rally. And this is where the Justinian Nevsky rally is best. It's best as the non-tanking rally in a double, where it's just not getting hit, and it just does a ton of damage. It does an absolute ton of damage. You can see this one hurt, and we did not defend the fort after that. Once they set up the double and proved that they could do a double successfully, we just waved the white flag on that fort. That was this fort here, the Yurdi fort. So there was a lot of action here last night. I can show some clip footage of that if we get to it. There's some other footage I'm going to show first, but yeah, that's the good part of the Justinian. I think the other good part is that he's pretty good in the open field, right? Like Justinian William has been a good march for me. It doesn't trade amazing, but it trades fine. And it's really fast. I don't know exactly why it's so fast. I think maybe I set up the auxiliary skills. I changed these around actually. I think I previously had... Yeah, the reason it was fast very early on is because I had this Belisarius on it, where after leaving battle, your march speed gets increased by 50% for 10 seconds. But I moved that to the Nevsky because, you know, at the end of the day, I was rallying with Justinian, and so I wanted to have... I mean, this con skill is not amazing for rallies, where you're getting a huge damage boost when over 70% of units remain, which is generally not going to be for that large of a percentage of the rally. But all my Justinian rallies have been pretty quick, right? They've been either like these sniper rallies where the enemy just doesn't have any cities nearby or any like open field to swarm it, or they've been like double rallies where it does very well and like basically never loses health. And I think Justinian must have like some march speed on him. He must have march speed on him. Yeah, he's got the 15% march speed outside of Alliance territory. And then William has 15% as well. So they're like a really fast march, which is not great. I'm not saying that is a good thing. I'm not really saying it's a good thing that Justinian and William are so fast, because what was happening is that their march would always be the first to contact the enemy, and then it would get focused, and it's just not really the march that I want to get focused. I mean, I don't really want any of my marches to get focused, but I guess if it were really up to me, I would prefer the Guan, I guess. I guess it doesn't matter which march gets... It doesn't matter which march gets focused first, but my thing is I want all my marches to reach the enemy at the same speed. And the Justinian William was just reaching the enemy a little bit too quickly. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. But I mean, I think Justinian overall is... He was a good pickup. He was a good pickup. Gypsy says it was midnight and I was half awake, was playing on phone, so timing was bad. I was supposed to be tanking. So yeah, I can see why you guys were tanking, just because you guys probably had more reigns. It looked like you guys had more reinforcements at that point. But I mean, I think the Henry Zug is the better tanking rally, probably. Because if you guys were tanking, then we probably could have swarmed your Justinian a little bit and like really reduced it. And I just think the Justinian Nevsky is so amazing at full health, doing full damage. I think in an ideal world, I think the Justinian Nevsky does more damage than the Henry Zug does. Malik, welcome to the stream. And yeah, appreciate that about my voice. I mean, if you want a relaxing ROK YouTuber, I would recommend Dirty Dan. Dirty Dan is my favorite YouTuber to take a nap on the couch to. He had not streamed in a while, and then I think he streamed like a week or so ago. And I was just watching it. I was sitting on my couch. I had no intention of taking a nap, right? We were in the middle of war. I probably had stuff to do during war. But I was just like watching it for like 10, 20 minutes, and I was like, you know what? I can just like lay down and take a nap right now. And so I just laid down and I fell asleep real quick. So Dan's got like a really relaxing voice as well, I would say. But no, I appreciate it. And I can relate. I can definitely relate. I like the relaxing stuff. Catacat, welcome to the stream. Legit, welcome to the stream. IT. It is lit. The fires have been burning across the lands in this KvK. Our storehouses are afire. I actually have like more stuff in my bags right now. The other day I was literally on one screen. Like I used like all my resources. I mean, I can quickly do this. I'll show you guys what my bags normally look like at this point in the KvK. I mean, I don't really need to do the wood, but whatever. Let me just show you what life is like in a war like this that goes 15 days and is still not over. Yeah, this is my bag. Like, this is my bag. Like, look at this. This is unbelievable. I guess I can even use these, right? Look at this bag. I mean, I feel empty. I feel truly empty. Paco says about a week ago. Yeah, shout out to Pirate Paco. He's been leading. He's been king of 2217 during their downtime on a couple of the nights, and yeah, I think handled himself pretty well in that role. And then, you know, at a certain time, they all show up, and suddenly it's their uptime. But it's like real. It's quiet tonight. It's quiet tonight, which is fine with me actually. I went to bed last night and we were still defending this URT fort, but it was just a matter of time before they popped the garrison, because the garrison had gone to sleep also. And then we were defending over here, like we were defending this fort. I think this fort might have been burned at some point. I think it must have been burned at some point. But when I woke up, you know, 7-8 hours later, this was extinguished. These forts had gone up. That fort had gone up, the N70S fort. And the N70D fort. Both of these forts were new. And we had... Oh, we had burned this down, but now I see that... Oh, maybe I should join the main coalition. Maybe I should join the main coalition. Maybe there's some casual fighting I can do. Maybe there's some casual fighting I can do. What should I join? I guess I'll join URD. Probably full. Guess we have a little fighting here. Maybe. Although I'm tempted to just keep chaining. We'll see. We'll see. Paco says they all show up, then I can go to sleep with full hospitals. Tay, welcome to the stream. Thank you for complimenting my garrison in DM. Can we see your garrison? You can see my talent tree, sure. I mean, I don't think it's anything special. I probably grabbed this thing from Legend Ronnie's Discord a million years ago. I don't think there's any... Obviously, some people go Kingsguard here on some garrisons, but I don't know that they do that with this exact configuration of trees. You know, this would be interesting, actually, to get Halberd and do 9% more damage to archer units. I mean, is that going to be better than, like, Clarity? Probably not. I mean, if you're getting swarmed, I guess you would rather have Halberd than Rejuvenate. But I mean, the Jan Hera, I think what's good about the Jan Hera is that it does well against, like 1v1, the Jan Hera does extremely well. Like with no swarming or no double, the Jan Hera does really, really well. There's just nothing that it trades badly against. I think Tariq Pakal would probably do best against it. Maybe Justinian Nevsky, but like it doesn't really win convincingly at all. And then against swarming in doubles, the Jan Hera does well. It's not the best. It's definitely not the best against swarms, but it does like okay. And I think it probably does better than Dido Hera against swarms. I would think. So I mean, I feel pretty good about the Jan Hera. You know, I feel pretty good about it. Considering there's no like new Archer Garrison coming out anytime soon, considering there's not going to be a new leadership garrison anytime soon, I feel like Jan Hera can still serve me well going into the future. I want those armaments and gear. Haha, your garrison stuff. Yeah, Tay, I appreciate it. I mean, I do have like the best in slot gear, right? So it's not on the Jan now, but yeah, so I have best in slot gear. I do have a critted horn, but I've just been using the Vengeance lately because like you get swarmed so often that you just want to have the Vengeance on there when so that like you're ready for it. But I mean, I could go over here and fight. Maybe I should. I mean, basically when I woke up, this flag had been burned, but I see that LN93 has reconnected it. Are they rallying? They're not. Okay. So people are just chilling over here. Maybe I'll go over here later. Maybe I'll go over here later, but I haven't really had a chance to chain at all in this KvK. So I'm kind of enjoying the opportunity to just talk to the chat and chain a little bit. Even though I don't really have a ton of AP. I mean, I'm doing okay, actually. I guess I'm doing okay. I'm really far behind in honor. Really far behind in honor. I've missed altars. I've missed most runes. So compared to the last KvK where I think I finished, you know, 30th or so, maybe 32nd in honor, I'm way behind that this KvK. Yeah, the KvK weapon and helm, yeah, definitely helps. Algebra, welcome to the stream. Shout out to Algebra, longtime member of the channel and also a member of the Handsome Devils. Algebra has played very, very well in this KvK. Very well. I think Algebra probably has the best open field trades of anybody in our alliance. Like just hearing him talk about how he's getting, you know, 2-to-1 and 3-to-1 trades pretty consistently. I'm gonna guess that he's getting the best trades of anybody. And I think he's also probably getting the best trades on a garrison. His Flavius Scipio is very, very thick. He's got very good armaments, and I assume he has, you know, very close to the best gear. So he's been getting a lot of very good trades for us. He's been very active, and has really also shown some leadership in various times, like very good ideas about what we should be doing. Says good things when we're open field fighting, like kind of imploring people to be a little more aggressive when we have a good advantage. So Algebra's definitely played very well in this KvK. I think he's probably been a top 5 player in the Handsome Devils this KvK, which is not an easy group to break into. That is not an easy group to break into at all. Because, you know, myself, Addy, and Eli generally are taking 3 of those top 5 spots, and so, you know, it's tough to break in. It really is. But I mean, we've had a lot of good players. Some very good players in 2263 as well. Uni's a very, very good leader. Very even-tempered, calm demeanor, which is something I could work at. And just plays very well, has very good ideas. And then Froppy has probably been the best rally leader in our camp, I would say. So we've definitely had some very, very good performances in this KvK. But none better than Eddie Navo. I said that I stayed up for 24 hours straight when Ile de France opened. Before Eddie crashed yesterday, he was awake for 38 straight hours. I think he must have gone to work once or twice during that. I don't know how you stay up for 38 hours. I don't know how you go to work after like being up for 28 hours. I don't know how anyone can do that. But Addy you know, he constructed this fort wall here that is still standing, right? After all the fighting we've done, after all the damage we've taken, after the fact that, you know, we were the weaker camp in Champagne, right? The enemy camp was stronger than us. Especially because for the first 5 days, our Koreans were on holiday and not playing the game very much. And the Taiwanese from Picardy were apparently on holiday, but that meant they were off work and playing more. So, I mean, Picardy was the stronger camp, but even after 15 days, and even after being 1v2'd in Ile-de-France, we still have a foothold on which to launch attacks, defend forts, and continue depleting the enemy. Continue depleting an enemy that we have been consistently depleting. Are they really not rallying this? Interesting. I'll port over here if they rally it. If they rally it, I'll port over here. So I mean, I just think our strategy has played out very well. Mepa says, Algebra going to get targeted more now? I think Algebra's prepared. I think it's fine if they target Algebra. I think that works well for us. Legit ROK asks, what kind of clothes does a mermaid wear? An algebra. Abu Red, welcome to the stream. He says 2263 was his last KvK, and now he's in 1862. Nice, nice. 1862 is like a familiar name. Why do I know that name? Obviously I know 1682, because we fought against them in the past. But I feel like I've heard of 1862 also. Oh yeah, I've heard of these guys. 62 DJ. Yeah. Yep. Tete says F that's Flav Scipio. Yeah, it's been cool. There's been a lot of like retro garrisons in this KvK. I mean, Flav Scipio is not retro, but it's not something you see a ton these days just because swarming is such a big deal and it can be swarmed. But because we've done so many fort defenses and fort garrisons, we have leaned on the Flavius Scipio quite a bit. And the other garrison that's making a comeback is Zeno. And Zeno Hera specifically. Zeno Hera is getting used a lot in garrisons, especially in forts. I could probably show a good. Oh, you know, I don't have them on my main. I don't have these reports on my main, unfortunately. So I don't really join other people's garrisons on my main. So I don't have too many Zeno Hera reports, but. They sometimes do good and they sometimes do bad. You know, it's just it's how hard the enemy swarms and how good you reinforce, basically. But yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to use Flav Hera. But I've ended up just moving all my armaments and all my gear onto Zeno. And if I ever do infantry garrison, it's going to be a Zeno Hera. Oh no, Abu, this is my main. This is my main account, but I just don't. I generally fill on my farms rather than on my main, right? Which is why, you know, I still have a decent amount of power. I can still fight in the open field. I'm at 2.3 million deads. I took some very stupid deads yesterday, unfortunately. I should really be right at around 2 million. But, yeah, a few mistakes, you know, mistakes get made during war for sure. At one point yesterday, we were having an argument in Discord. An argument that we did not need to have. I did not start the argument, but I should not have, like, kept it going. I should not have, like, defended myself. I should have just let it go. But we were arguing in Discord, and both the person who was responsible for putting a garrison captain in a flag and myself, the person who was sort of running things and paying close attention and making sure things like garrison captains were getting set, we were arguing in Discord and we were not paying attention. And so Avern was rallying our flag. My hospital was pretty full. And I sent my marches to swarm the rally. It was like a Justinian Nevsky rally. So I just like insta sent my 5. Like basically their ball didn't get there before the rally. Like their ball didn't get there in time. So I was like, okay, I'll just swarm this rally down. But then I looked at the flag and the flag didn't have a garrison in it. So I'm looking in the flag. I'm looking for the captain to make the correct captain. I can't find it. And as that's happening, my marches are getting wrecked by both the rally and the enemy ball. And so I got wrecked with with an almost full hospital and took like 110k open field deads. Just, really unforced error because we were literally arguing in Discord instead of paying attention. And then they were rallying my fort. So, I mean, basically what happened is that, like, they were burning us pretty consistently. We took a quick break, and then we, like, set a time to start defending again. And I put the cavalry garrison in the Ur D fort. And Chris rallied it. And, I just got, like, a good trade. I got, like, a nice winning trade against his Henry Zug. But as this rally was happening, they were, like, Eli's city was getting rallied. And I was so focused on watching this fight that I didn't even notice that my Nevsky was sitting in Eli's rally, or in Eli's city. And so I took 100k deads, like 100k, like T5 deads, reinforcing Eli's city as it got rallied. I mean, obviously the trade was good for us overall, and like maybe on some weird level, like I didn't really help because like his power is low, his troop count is low. So he's just doing it because he can just take hospital deads, take severely wounded. So that was like another 100k. All of a sudden we're talking about 210k unnecessary deads in a single day. And then I threw my Guan into a flag that Uni was garrisoning. Like he was trading good, but there was like no real reason for me to throw my Guan in there. And so I took another 35k deads there that I didn't need to take. Because I joined the flag late. I was like the last reinforcement in there before it went down. So we're like quickly talking about maybe 240k unnecessary open field deads that I took yesterday. Which hurts. It definitely hurts. Yeah, Gypsy, it was the Archer flag. Yeah, it was the Archer flag. There's like a Lohar garrison or something like that. Eli says my city reports are goated. Yeah, I didn't want to say too much. I didn't want to say too much about the city stuff. Bomber, we fought against 1903 last KvK, but in this KvK we are actually allies with 1903. Let me go ahead and do a summary of the KvK up to this point, because it has been a very good fight. So basically, we Bourbon were pinched between two enemies: Picardy, who is the enemy's strongest camp, and then Avern, which is the enemy's second strongest camp. And we figured Avern would let us have Nevers for free, which they did. We just sort of took Nevers uncontested, and we fought Picardy in Champagne. Because we just wanted to fight them 1v1. There was no reason for us to wait to fight in Ile-de-France and have a 1 versus 2 disadvantage. So we took the fight in Champagne. They beat us in Champagne, but we had this fort wall that we basically have fought from for 2 weeks, and the trades overall in this zone were that they took more deads than we did, I want to say we had more kill points. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I want to like make sure I'm right about this. I want to make sure I'm right about this. No, they had slightly more kill points than us. They had slightly more kill points in the early going of this zone, but they took more deads. They took about 30 million more deads than we did. And so, you know, they won this zone, but at the same time, our allies from 1903 and 1020, they won Maine. Here are our allies in turquoise. They won Maine, while the enemies won in Barry. Auvergne won in Barry against La Marche. I think largely because, again, there's only one kingdom in this camp who fights, which is 2313, which is a 4-star kingdom. And I think they probably I think 2313 made a tactical or a strategic choice to not go all out in Barry, and instead link up with our allies in terrain and fight in terrain. And our allies did in fact win terrain. They won very convincingly over the course of about 24 hours. There was some fighting right around here, right around this area here, for like one night. But then I woke up the next day and our allies had fort dropped over here. They'd flagged back towards the left, and the enemies in 1393 and in Brittany had been pushed back. And our allies have also now invaded Normandy as well. At the same time, 1393, and I think part of the reason this zone was lost so quickly is that 1393 did in part come over here to help the fight in Ile-de-France, because on night 1, we were pushing back pretty well. We were burning LX-17. We were... Auvergne was not really able to reach us. We kind of had them blocked by forts. And as soon as we started burning 1393 forts, or flags, excuse me, the Taiwanese did come over here and defend them and then push back. So, you know, we kind of like... We eased the pressure off of terrain, and then terrain was conquered. Now, we still have a bit of a jumping off point here in Champagne, and we still have a bit of punch left, I would say. And what we do with that punch remains to be seen. And it remains to be seen how much effort the enemy is going to devote to fighting against us in Champagne when they need to save themselves for Orleans. Because what's going to happen in Orleans is that there are 4 kingdoms. There are 4 kingdoms from the enemy side who will enter from the right side. And there are 3 kingdoms from the allied side who will enter from the left. Now, I would say, I mean, obviously 4 kingdoms have an advantage over 3. But I do think that probably Picardy and Auvergne are more worn down than our allies are. I think our allies are a bit fresher. And at the very least, they haven't had to fight for like 15 days straight like Picardy has. So I mean, we're still here as like a 4th king, or actually a 4th and a 5th kingdom. Whereas I think Brittany is just kind of out of it. I don't think Brittany can really do much. I don't think they have the punch to do any real damage in Normandy or like get through. And you know, I mean, I'm just thinking about, and so like as a reminder, the level 7 passes open. The level 7 passes open after the level 6 passes open into Kingsland. Let me just catch up on chat real quick. Noonie, thanks for checking in. Yeah, it has been a very fun KvK, and shout out to 2263 who have been good allies. Not, you know, 2263 has not been perfect allies by any means, but they do, like, you take what you can get, and like 2263 has definitely been like above average as an ally. Like, you can't ask for like a great ally. If you get a good ally, then that's almost like more than you can expect. Bomber says, yeah, I've heard about the big fort wall on your side in Alliance chat. Bomber, what kingdom are you in? Oh, okay. So the garrison was Henry Zug, and then Dido showed up late. Yeah, that was a low point for us. That non-captain garrison was like pretty much, while we were arguing in Discord, was pretty much a low point for us. But then I woke up. What happened? Well, yeah, then I woke up and like we were attacking. We had really good numbers, and we were trying to destroy a couple of forts over here. So I mean, the pattern for me has been like I go to bed when like things are looking pretty bleak, and then I wake up and things look better. Like I was really happy when I woke up this morning, and like we were like doing fine here. I think we were like, I don't know if we were burning flags or what. I think maybe there was like, what was happening? I don't know. I don't know if we were burning a flag, but these flags here, like they had damage to them, right? I woke up and these flags here had damage to them. So I was like, well, I guess we burned it at some point. Banks, welcome to the stream. Fatty, welcome to the stream. Okay, yeah, I got you, Bomber. Yep. Tete says they kind of went all out. They even said they used more than they wanted. Only their top 10 has gas. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, exactly. So like Tete's saying that 2313 went all out in Barry, which is possible. I mean, when I saw the stats of the KvK, like everyone had taken deads. Like there was fighting everywhere. Like everyone is worn down. Like don't get me wrong, everyone is worn down. So it's hard to assess. It's hard to assess what Orleans is going to look like, right? It's just hard to assess. I mean, I think Picardy had incredible reserves. You know, I think like I said, I think the trade has been I think the trade has honestly been even overall. If I had to guess, the last stat dump I saw was that the enemy had taken 56 million more deads than we had taken. And that was sort of before they were fighting into our forts in Ile-de-France, before they were like attacking our passes, before we had some pretty successful offensives. If I had to estimate, I would estimate that the enemy has taken 100 million more deads than we have taken. And we have spent 25 to 33% more healing speed ups than the enemy has. I think they have won the open field, and we have won the rally and garrison game. And so, like, at that point, if like the trade against us was even, like, yes, they have the territory, but if the trade against us was even, and we're like quite depleted, then it stands to reason that they are quite depleted as well. But I don't really think that's the case. I think that 1393 still has a lot left. I think they still have a lot of freaking whales with a lot of power. I mean, you can just look at it. Like, they still have a lot of power. You know, for as many deaths as they have taken, they still have quite a bit of power. I mean, they're the person who's the king a lot of the time. The person who's the king a lot of the time has like 300 million power still. Yeah, this guy. This guy's only lost like 30 million power in this KvK. Now, I mean, his kill points aren't super high, right? I guess he's not super active. I mean, he's not like a insane fighter. But I mean, he's certainly around a lot. I see this player's city quite a bit. I'm not sure about this player. I mean, it's really hard to assess, but I mean, when I look at what we have done, when I look at I'm gonna pat ourselves on the back a little bit. When I look at what we have done in terms of, you know, we were the weaker side in Champagne. We just were. We were the weaker side. And yet, what happens when most people are the weaker side is they fight for 2 or 3 days, and then they say, all right, I guess we lost this KvK, and they go back to their start zone, and they farm barbs, and that's just it. That's the end, right? But we were losing, but we did a ton of damage to the enemy to give our allies a chance to win the KvK. And I just think when we look back on it, I don't know that we would have been able to get anything more out of it than doing a ton of damage. I don't think it was going to be possible for us to, especially once we were losing Champagne, I don't think it was possible for us to get into Kingsland. Like, it was just too hard for us to beat 2 camps. It was too hard for us to beat Auvergne and Picardy in Ile-de-France. And so we just went all out and we did as much damage to the enemy as we can. We tried to soften them up. And I just think in retrospect, that was the correct strategy. I don't think we could have done a better strategy than that. And so I think it's very good that we, you know, gave our side a chance to win. Like, we played to win. We didn't play to, like, see how tough the enemy was and then be like, well, I guess this is a loss, y'all. Let's get ready for the next one. No, we had a very tough situation, but we played to our win condition anyway. And I think that is, you know, something that we should be very proud of, because I don't think a lot of kingdoms or a lot of camps are capable of doing that. Betty says, so you're to blame when we wake up on fire. No, I am not to blame. I am not to blame. I mean, I guess I set you guys on fire like the first night in Ile-de-France, but that's about it, really. But Fatty, I was there when you guys really showed up en masse at like 4 UTC. Not 4 UTC, it was like 4 PST. It was like 4 AM here. And yeah, that was pretty demoralizing. That moment was pretty demoralizing when all of a sudden you guys had just a massive ball. Bank says the 1393 average player has roughly $15 billion in the bank. Jesse, welcome to the stream. Fatty, I think we have like pretty up-to-date stats. Like, not like exactly up-to-date, but we'll get them soon enough. Fatty says 100%. You should be proud of that. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I mean, just because it's interesting, right? So, like, one of the things that Fatty gave me a hard time for was saying that we're a top 10 A kingdom. And, you know, I was on voice with Addy and a few other people, and I was like, you know, I guess I could data check that, right? Like, maybe we're not a top 10 kingdom. You know, maybe we're not a top 10 A kingdom. But I kind of like went through it, right? I kind of went through it. And it's like, all right, so first of all, like, some of these A kingdoms. Okay, it's like, okay, is 2100 an A kingdom? Is 2100 an A kingdom? I'm pretty sure they are like, you know, they're like a former Imperium that had like, you know, 26 million power at their peak. Why is Rockboard not working? There we go. You know, it's like, I mean, the bottom line is like, if 770 is not a top 10 A kingdom, it's because we would have to lose to kingdoms like 2100. Which, first of all, they used to, okay, so like 1525, sure, I can say that 1525 is better than us. That's one. Like, we can go through this, right? I went through this last night. 1525 is better than us, that's one. Is 2100 better than us? I don't know. I don't know who would win that fight. But maybe they're better. Let's say that's two. 166. I feel like there's this one. I feel like 166 is maybe the kingdom that beat 1647 in the 307 Strife of the Eight. So maybe like 116. Oh wait, let me just show you like oh, Eddie's better at this than I am. I mean, like 2100. Like if 2100 is a top 10 A kingdom, and they're the kind of kingdom that's knocking us out of the top 10. 1 second. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like 2100, not that long ago, just like 5-6 months ago, 2100 was a 26 million power kingdom, right? And so they, I mean, like, were they an A kingdom at this point? No, they were like an Imperium kingdom. And so kingdoms are getting smaller and smaller. And there are more like quote unquote A kingdoms that are way bigger than us. Like they're way bigger than us. Like we've never been anywhere near 2600 top power. Like I'll show you our top power historically. So I don't know, I was going through this and I was like, at worst we're like the 12th best A kingdom. So maybe like 1166 is better. Maybe 1235 is better. That's 4. I'm not too familiar with like 2244. I know that one of these 2200 kingdoms did very well in Orleans. Okay, 188 is obviously better than us. That's like 5. 1846 is not an A kingdom, they're an Imperium. 1753, they're like a One Alliance Korean kingdom. I don't know how we would do against 1753. Obviously, we would have better 24-hour coverage. But so like this becomes the issue. Like if we're better than these kingdoms, if we're better than 1753, if we're better than 1079, if we're better than, heck, I mean 1647. I mean they have a ton of KP, but as far as I can tell, they're somewhat losing the zone to 2293. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think calling us a top 10 A kingdom is very reasonable. 1818 is obviously better than us. That's 6. 1718 is better than us. That's 7. I think I missed a couple. But you know, I think we have problems as a kingdom, but I think we at the same time we showed our good points, right? We showed that we have like a ton of heart and played it very smart. Addy Nava says it depends on how you class A. There's a gray area between A and Imp, but I usually class A as 22 billion and below. 1525, 1188, 2100, 1079 to name a few are former Imp that cut power now. It's a recent thing, but these guys are kind of becoming A and making things different. Fatty will give us top 11. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, it's like, if we're the 11th best A kingdom and I claim that we're a top 10 A kingdom, I think people have hyped things, like, way more than that in the history of our OK. But, you know, like, at the end of the day, in some ways, the trash talk is good because I like the conversations around A kingdoms. And I think in many ways, us A kingdoms have, like, I think in some ways we have better wars than the Imperiums do. You know, because, like, they end. Like, the wars that we have actually end. Like, people run out of troops, or one side actually becomes dominant. And the thing I'm thinking about as far as this war, like, going back a little bit to the summary of the war so far and where things stand, the thing I'm kind of wondering about is that, you know, there was that recent Siege of Orleans with 2489 and 1484, where they won Kingsland. They controlled Kingsland, but like basically 1188 and 1525, they sort of like maintained enough of a foothold in Kingsland And as they were, as 2489 was focused on Kingsland, these other camps like 1525, they took over Ile-de-France. They started using these zone 7s to, like I think 1188 maybe came over from Touraine into Ile-de-France and essentially surrounded Kingsland. You know, the 2489 held Kingsland, but they got surrounded by enemies. And ultimately 2489 lost that KvK. Which is like a crazy timeline, right? It's a crazy timeline that they won Kingsland, but then lost the KvK. But I think that kind of thing is possible on this map. I mean, I suppose it's possible on any map, but I think it's more possible on this simply because allies are so isolated from each other. Where like in Strife, I mean, do I have it correct that in Strife, eventually all allies can be in all zone 6s prior to Kingsland opening? And so eventually Strife can get decided by allies getting in position for Kingsland. But in Orleans, the allies can never connect until after Kingsland. And I think that does add a new wrinkle to this, just given the fact that we are still in the fight. We are still in the fight, and, you know, it might matter and it might not. We'll just have to see. Sun hanging out in the chat. Banks saying this chat is just LKC. Unless Brian sends him toes, then he has a good chance. Yeah, no feed picks. But you know, I am gonna start using a webcam soon because I just want to make my content a little bit more dynamic. And I think being able to see someone's expressions while they're talking is a little more dynamic. I was kind of planning to like hold off until this war ends because I just was like, I don't need the grief. I don't need the grief from this this group we have in this current Lost Kingdom. But you know, if y'all keep being nice, then maybe we'll start the webcam era sooner than that. I don't know. No feet though. No feet. Adinavo says my precious fort wall that has stood for generations. Yeah, it's a heck of a fort wall. Greatest fort wall I've ever seen, that's for sure. Jesse says this KvK has been splendid. Looking forward for more, and there will be more fighting. I'm very sure of it. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of fighting still. I personally think the Kingsland is going to be very, very intense because I think both teams feel like they can win. So I think it's going to be very intense. I think both teams are just going to be like, okay, we have to go all out. We have a very good prize in front of us, and that's what makes for the best Kingsland fights for sure. Petty says, I was curious how much of a headache it gave y'all for Z6 planning when we didn't try to burn your fort wall. Yeah, I mean, I guess Addy would answer that better than me. I mean, I think we were fine with you not burning our fort wall. I don't think we felt bad about that. You know, our strategy, I guess this would be a good time to maybe talk about a little bit of what happened when the level 5 passes opened into Ile-de-France. So let me just, I'll pull that up. Yeah, so, you know, Ile-de-France opened and we, why are my keys not working here? This is weird. Why are my fast forward keys not working? Let me try to open a different, okay, so that one works. Yeah, let me try to show you this pass opening here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so the pass is opened, and our numbers were not great when the pass is opened, truth be told. We put the ball like very far back, but clearly, I mean, we couldn't put it much further back than this, because all we were trying to do with this group was we were just trying to build blocking flags so that the enemy could not get to like the forts we were trying to place. I mean, basically we man, this is weird. My stuff is so bugged right now. Okay, there we go. Oh, I know. I think I know what's happening. Anyway, so basically we were our goal was to like put a bunch of forts like in this corner here. Like in this corner here, we were going to set up a fort wall. And so when the zone opened to the north of the pass, we were just trying to build flags. We were just trying to build blocking flags that would prevent the enemy from reaching our forts. And, you know, we definitely got our asses kicked in this fight. I mean, this is just so rough, right? It's like, what can you do? I mean, basically, my whole thing here was like, we have to take this fight because we're at least close to our cities. So we'll kill some of the enemies, we'll refresh, and then, you know, maybe we'll be able to get some degree of control later on. But this is always like a bad feeling, right? When the enemy just has you so outnumbered and they're just about to swamp you. But, you know, we fought him nonetheless here. We fought him nonetheless. Sawtooth, welcome to the stream. Yes, very good fights. Yeah, shout out to Sawtooth and Tay in 2902. 2902 is a good kingdom. You know, 2902 is definitely a good kingdom. A good young kingdom that fights and fights pretty well. So I think the most surprising camp, or the most surprising opponent for me has probably been 2902. I had no idea what to think of you guys beforehand. Didn't necessarily like I just didn't think about you guys too much, but you guys have been tough. You guys have definitely been tough, Sawtooth. So shout out to you. Paco says the 1770 Zone 5 fort wall was as smart and as good because it used the terrain so well. There were no gaps. It had flags to go through. You have to hit a fort. Add to that the fact that rallies were now up to 3 million so early. Yeah, I mean, it gave us a jumping off point, right? Like, you can't fight from behind a pass. Trying to break out of a pass is, like, very difficult. But trying to defend forts where you can actually, you know, enter the zone through the pass, like your casual players can, like, walk their marches from Bourbon into Champagne and reinforce stuff. That, you know, we've always done pretty good with forts like that, you know? So, yeah, I mean, here was the opening to the zone. The enemy ball was simply much bigger than ours, and they were wrecking us pretty good. Yeah, so I'll fast forward a little bit here and just kind of like talk a little bit about this zone opening. I didn't like sketch this out, but I can talk this through. I mean, basically, like, they pushed us all the way back to the pass, but then they kind of, like, moved away from the pass because they were just, like, blocking teleport spots. And so we just pushed back out. I think the key thing that was happening right now from our perspective, the key positive thing that was happening, was that we had people in the flags, like, in the N70C flags, we had, like, 4 or 5 people in those flags. And they did a very good job of when the flag was done, they hopped back in the flag, and they were ready to build the next one, right? So we had like 4 or 5 people building all these fast flags in N70C, and we got maybe 4 or 5 flags built by those few people, those handful of elite ninja builders who managed to run through a giant enemy ball into the next flag. And so in C and in Ur D, which Ur D is sort of like south of the pass, we were able to get some flags built. Like, you can see we got a couple flags built, and then we've got these other flags that are, you know, it's not a good situation, but there are people in the flags. There are people in these flags. They are getting built. And, you know, we're pushing out from the pass. We're pushing out from the pass. And we decided to go south because, one, there's fewer enemies south. And two, we're trying to free up your D a little bit. We're trying to free up your D a bit and get their flags built. And I do think that the blocking flags in this area went well. Like we accomplished what we wanted to here in the north. But the issue, of course, is that we also had an enemy to the south. Like, we're fighting Picardy here, but there's another enemy murder ball to the south. And there were way fewer people at the at our southern pass. And we probably didn't have enough leaders focused on that southern pass. Because the problem that happened is that very few flags got built at the southern pass. Like, it was a real mistake on our part to not build more flags to the south. And I mean, I don't know if you guys want to watch this fight. I guess we can chill and watch this fight for a bit. I mean, this was like a tough one to, like, we were kind of doing good here. We were kind of doing good, but we're like, we know there's an enemy. We know there's another ball to the north that's just coming to flank us and smother us. And there were just so many times in this KvK where you just have, where just open field was like really hard. Open field was just really hard in so many situations because, you know, the enemy had us outnumbered on many occasions. There were maybe some occasions where we might have won the initial engagement, but then the enemy would just like bring more people back. Like, they would consistently bring more people back to the fight than we would bring back. And so, like, even if we won the first wave, we would then lose the second wave. You can see my Nevsky. I do some pretty good stuff with this Nevsky here, getting into this flag. The only thing I do wrong is, like, when you're doing something like my Nevsky, when your Nevsky has a really good run here, you need to click on that flag another time, and you need to check that box that says stay in the garrison after flag is built, right? Like, I'm just watching the Nevsky go there, but I needed to click on the flag again and check that box to stay in the garrison after the flag is built. Because ultimately that Nevsky does not stay in the flag and he just gets wrecked while I'm like focusing on other things. So just a little pro tip there, if you're in this situation and you're trying to get some flags built in the middle of an enemy army that's trying to stop you. Yeah, this is zone 6, but yeah, I'm showing the north pass because that's where I was. Quite frankly, I should have been at the south pass, and done building there. Eddie now says probably 2 flags on south side would have made our plan work, and we didn't build one for 30 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it was just really a mistake on the south side, and you know, it was frustrating at the time. It was definitely frustrating at the time. Because, you know, it's like an unforced error. It's like something that did not have to happen. Like, flags could have gotten built to the south. But, you know, I think part of it is just like, you know, this was a hectic war. Addy released the plan for Zone 6 not too long before the passes opened. And I don't think people internalized how important certain things were. You know, like, for those of us who were on voice, or those of us who, you know, spoke to Addy about it beforehand, like, I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to build blocking flags in C. Like, that was my #1 priority, was to build blocking flags in C. But, you know, the builders on the south side, like, they probably just didn't realize how important what they were doing was, and it just did not get done. Yeah, Banks, I don't run Guan Richard anymore. No. Yeah, so I guess here's some B. Let me show you the B-roll here. Let me see here. Yeah, so I mean, we got pushed back again. Okay, so yeah, so here's the fort wall. Like, you see, here's the fort wall we're trying to build. We've literally got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 9 forts here that we're trying to build. Ultimately, one of these forts got built. The Yurdi fort got built. That's the only one that got built. Which, by the way, this is also the fort that like lasted the longest because it was like in a really good spot, right? So I mean, these forts were in good spots if they had gotten built. JX-17 dropped a fort here. I don't know exactly when JX-17 dropped this fort. I don't know if they dropped it like immediately or if they dropped it after they saw our forts. But this was important. This was definitely important. But the flag line that Averni was building from the south was also very important. Like obviously we wouldn't have blocked this JX-17 fort. But and the other thing is we did not fill these forts up fast enough. We did not have builders in these forts, which I think is just an issue. It's just an issue all around. And I mean, honestly, maybe we should have just like not even fought in the open field or had like a very small ball. And we literally should have had everyone like on their farms, random TPing into the zone and getting into these forts. Like the forts not being filled up was also a problem. So there were like multiple problems basically. Satu says that the train over there is cancerous. It was a great spot. Yeah, I mean, because even our adjusted plan, which I think Addy made some very good adjustments. Where like once all these forts went down, he ended up building some other forts that were actually pretty good. Because what it ended up doing is it blocked Averni from like being able to attack us. Like on the first night, Averni was not really able to attack us hardly at all, and so we were able to just focus on LX-17 or JX-17. And like Averni just could not really help them that much. But let me just fast forward a little bit. I'm not sure. I feel like I want to just go way forward in this and just sort of show what things looked like a little bit later on. Yeah, so we all switched down to URT. Everybody went to the South Pass. Like once we realized what a disaster the South was, we all came down here to fight Averni. And, you know, try to get some flags built. Like, we just tried to get some flags built down here. And, you know, it was nice to fight Averni. Like, they definitely are easier to fight in the open field than Picardy. Picardy is really, really thick. Like, they have two very thick kingdoms there in terms of open field fighting. They hit very hard. And like I said, they come back to the fight very quickly. So it was nice to get some better trades here against Averni. But, you know, we were not in a great mood at this point. And, you know, I think I'm sometimes just too negative on voice. Like, I was saying things like, oh, okay, well, I guess we can fall back to Nevers and, like, you know, if we just continue to fight and continue to have some military power, then we can, like, maybe get some things in negotiations. You know, I kind of thought it was over. Like, once it looked like we were just going to get pushed out of this zone very, very quickly, I kind of thought it was over. But essentially what happened is that, yes, we got pushed out of this zone quickly, but our allies won the other Zone 6 even faster. And so that was just like a game changer. That was not expected. We did not expect our allies to win terrain as quickly as they did. And so all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay, maybe there's a bunch of people in this KvK who can compete against Picardy. And if that's the case, then that really does change everything. Because like I said, we have softened Picardy up. Tate says, seeing 3 forts with 60 days had me creaming in VC. Yeah, it was definitely a low point for us. It was definitely a low point. You know, we probably need to like have a more rigid build plan, I think. I think we do good enough with flags because we can just like yell at people on voice to get into the flags. But I mean, clearly we had some issues with allocating people to fill those forts. That was clearly an issue. Bomber says, did you happen to record any of the 1903 side? I was in one spot and kind of want to see the other side. I recorded a little bit of 2313 defending a flag one night, but I could not find it. It's like, I'm not exactly sure where the footage is, and it's like not that great. So yeah, I didn't really record too much of it. You know, I didn't really see a ton of that fight, honestly. We've just been so focused over here. Let me just fast forward a little bit, show like a different part of this. Yeah, I mean, we fought like in the open field for like a long time here. Maybe, I think sometimes I get a little bit too wrapped up in the open field fights and I should be like paying attention to something else instead. I don't know, I just always feel like I can really help in the open field, and so that's why I do it a lot, but I don't know, maybe I should have been looking at flags a little bit more, like giving feedback to Addy about like my ideas. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think it's too bad what I'm doing, but yeah, so I think, I'm not sure exactly what happened here. I don't know if we just got pushed back by a Vern, or if, yeah, I think we just got pushed back by a Vern, because I don't think that, I don't think 2217 had come down here yet. I mean, our troops were split, right? We had a lot of people in Ur D to the north. I think we probably had about half our people were in Ur D to the north, and then, you know, because they had teleport space. Ur D had a lot of teleport space. And then the other half of us were down here in Ur T, and we had like a long walk to the where we were. Let me see if I can get a little bit farther and show a little bit more of this fight. Gosh, we were at this pass for a long time, huh? Yeah, so here, okay, so here's like, basically this is north of that pass, and this is where we connected with a Vernie. And so we were just kind of fighting here at these flags for a while. I don't know if there's anything too great in here. Yeah, I mean, we eventually touched flags, and that would have been fine, except Averni found like a way through. Like this flag they're building like right at the top of my screen, like right up here. I think this flag here is like the issue, where they essentially get past. Yeah, I mean, basically they're getting past our flag line right now. Like you can see that we almost blocked them. Like here's as far as our flags got. We're, you know, 2 or 3 flags outside of the pass, but all we had to do was build flags a little bit faster, and they would not have been able to get past us here, right? Like this is just what happened. They got past us pretty much right here. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what happened. What is a builder kingdom? We're like a territory. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of a builder kingdom. I mean, we actually are a builder kingdom. Like we build good territory that gives us an advantage. So we are a builder kingdom, but it's pretty bad that we you know, actually are not that good at filling the stuff that we build. Weimer here says, not saying any kingdom is bad on that side, but even if they were, 4 versus 2 is hard to maintain in the open field. Player difference is just too vast. Oh, well, it's a 4 versus 3. I mean, in terms of kingdoms in Kingsland, it's... Okay, why am I here? Are you really not in this KvK? Are you really not in this KvK? You said you weren't in it, but I'm not sure. I'll be right back. I need to get some water. Oh, you are in this KvK, okay. Yeah, I guess you mean the Z6 on the other side? Well, I mean, sure, like, but, you know, there were two camps over there, but they just had to allocate to this side. Like, I mean, I understand that. I understand that was a strategic. It was a strategic decision to. I understand it was a strategic decision to pull back from terrain, and I'm sure it was a good strategic decision. But you know, I think that our allies showed themselves to be very capable there, right? So I mean, it's just so it's so hard to say. It's so hard to say what's going to happen in Orleans. I think our allies complement each other pretty well in terms of like just what they do. I think they complement each other pretty well, and I think you guys are softened up. So I mean, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about our chances. I think I think our win probability has progressively gone up as the KvK has gone on. I think now it's going to stay where it is. It's going to stay where it is for now. And we're just not going to get any changes in the probabilities until Kingsland starts. Oh, okay. You're saying that it's hard for us to maintain open field in Zone 6. It's tough for any camp. Yeah, it was tough. I mean, shout out to Japarl. Oh, I thought he was chaining, but obviously he's not. Oh, he's he auto AoE'd that one. Okay, shout out to Japarl. Me and Japarl have been playing this game together for 5 years now. Yeah, it was tough. Like there were times where we would do well. So yeah, so why am I here? I'll give you like a perfect example of like where it's tough, where the open field gets tough, right? Because I want to show you the fort drop from yesterday. Oh, did I not mark this one? I know the time on it, right? It's like 52 minutes. Yeah, I'll show you the fort drops that we fought against yesterday, which will give like a pretty good example of like how like fighting two camps open field just like gets tough at certain times. Let me find that. Let me find that one. All right, so this was the fort drop that we did So yesterday, I got online, and LX17 had dropped a fort, and Squirt had also dropped a fort. So when we looked at it, we saw that the LX17 ball didn't seem that big, and so we went for the LX17 fort first. The Squirt fort was like buried behind a bunch of their cities and stuff. And that just looked like a more difficult approach than this one. So we went in on LX17 right off the bat. And tried to take down their open field here. I think I just saw Malik on the screen, so shout out to Malik. And this was a pretty good fight. I mean, I guess some of our best open field fights have been when LX17 drops a fort. Because I don't quite know why, but our better open field fights seem to occur at those times. And so the plan here was to double rally. You can see on the bottom of the screen, you can see Addy's marches here are in orange, because we were trying to double rally this fort. And so we dropped coalition. But the thing I didn't realize, I should have realized this, but I didn't, is that when you're in dot mode and your coalition teammate is attacking someone, they show up in red on dot mode. Like they don't show up in yellow, they show up in red. So when we were outside, when we were in separate coalitions and we were fighting in the open field, because some of us are fighting in dot mode, we just started like attacking our teammates, right? I didn't even realize it. I'm just reading up in chat a little bit. Fatty says Brittany gave up on KvK after demanding a fight in Diplo. Bomber says, have you ever lost a march trying to city hop and not paying attention? Bomber, I've lost a march in every way possible. Maybe not city hopping, to be honest, because like the only time I city hop is when like I'm not doing anything else and I can just like focus on city hopping. But that is very rare. It's very rare that I get to city hop. Fatty says goated fort drops, by the way. I mean, listen, 2217 definitely likes to fort drop right in your face, right? Like they don't put the fort like far away from where you are. They will literally drop a fort like right next to where all your cities are. So yeah, not a ton of finesse there, but you know, they do get the job done. I think I missed the rallies here, right? Did I miss the rallies? No. Okay, so the rallies are still coming. We're still getting the double rally set up. There's a bunch of times here where like I'm looking at the screen and like it looks very promising. Like there are all these situations where I'm like, this fort should probably go down. You know, like we have most of the field here, right? We're pretty comfortably control. I mean, we're not controlling the field, but like we're winning the open field fight. We have a double rally coming. Like this looks pretty promising to me. I think the biggest problem is that the other coalition, the URD coalition, it just doesn't look like they have a ton of it doesn't look like they have a ton of reigns here. And then the other problem is that if they start walking towards the fort and they like attack enemies, like I'm just going to attack them. Like I don't even realize that I'm attacking my teammates. Addy now says, Brian casually costing me a third of my remaining RSS. Yeah, Addy started complaining on voice that I was attacking him, and I'm just like, I just didn't understand how it even happened, you know? Like I was, you know, I was in dot mode and I was just like fighting whoever was in front of me. So it was very weird. It was very, very weird. But here, let me fast forward to the actual double rallies here, because they're taking their sweet time getting here. All right, so here come the doubles. I think sometimes these things get bugged. Like sometimes rallies in certain situations get bugged. People were saying it was hard to join Uni's Attila Nevsky rally. Like they could not get reigns into the Nevsky rally. I think I actually managed to throw my Boudica into Barney's Henry Zug rally. But unfortunately, we're just not getting reigns. Uni is getting swarmed. We're actually both getting swarmed. Like both rallies are getting swarmed. We're not getting reinforcements in. And that kind of did it. And this is actually giving me shades of against 1818, where we did a fort drop. And the enemy, you know, the enemy was right on our doorstep. And they were all over the open field right next to the fort. But the reason we won, or the reason the fort survived, is because we swarmed down the rally every single time. Like we just swarmed down the rally every freaking time. So that didn't work. That one didn't work. We didn't even come close to killing it. And so we just decided to attack the SQRT fort instead, basically. Betty says, more finesse to drop in face than far away. Be real with that one. Well, I'm not a huge fan of the far away fort drops, because I don't like fighting from like new territory that's not connected to the rest of our territory. But there's certainly finesse in certain fort drops that change the actual like territory, right? You know, like we did a fort drop in the last KvK into terrain that basically that fort drop is what changed that zone. Like it won the zone for us. Like we did a fort drop, it worked, we expanded our territory, that's what won the zone. And then in that same zone we did another fort drop. We did an N70H fort drop that Eli had the idea for. And that fort drop allowed us to get to the well here, let me pause this real quick. Yeah, in the last KvK, I mean, this was a fort drop with finesse. Like, this was a very finesse fort drop. We were in terrain, we were taking over terrain, and Eli was like, let's drop a fort right around here so that we can flag to these passes much faster. We'll drop a fort here and use Skillful Craftsman, and then in an hour we'll get to these passes and completely surprise the enemy. And we did exactly that, and this was the live stream I did where we literally zeroed like 60, 70 cities in this zone because we surprised them so hard with our fort drop. So, I mean, to me, that's finesse. That's finesse. Shout out to Eli. So yeah, we go for the SQRT fort. We're once again doing a double rally. At this point, we realize that, you know, we have to, like, we can't attack our teammates, right? We have to be a little bit more careful. And I mean, to me, this approach was like very difficult. Like, to me, this approach was difficult because there were so many cities to get through. But I think what Averni did incorrectly was they just sort of stood at the bridge. Whereas I think maybe it would have been better to stand at the fort, because then you can like refresh very quickly. Like Tay-Tay and Clown and Boss Clown here, they could have been in the ball. They could have fought our ball right off the bat, and then they could have very quickly refreshed to rejoin this fight. I think it would have been better for them to do that rather than like defend the bridge. Because this was like surprisingly easy, right? Like it looked like a very difficult approach, but then like all of a sudden it was like, oh, we have like a ton of marches here. We have no enemy. And I think we do a double rally. I think there's another rally coming. I don't even know if we need it, but I think we do another rally. Eddie says it was more than 60 to 70 cities. It was 100 to 150 cities. Could be, could be. Tay-Tay says, I was AFK on the Squirt Fort until I see rallies and swarm and take deads like a pleb. Well, I mean, if you're going to take deads, this is where you do it. I mean, if you're going to swarm a rally, this is where you swarm a rally, for sure. But yeah, this thing was like... Yeah, this was cool because like our morale was a little bit low after we really struggled on that double rally against LX17, but then we really just got our morale back very quickly with this fort drop here, or with this fort destruction here. Yeah, so this thing went down pretty easily. Because ultimately it is hard to defend a fort, right? Like, you can only put one reinforcement in, and that just makes it hard to defend a fort. And that's why we do tend to be pretty aggressive. We do tend to be pretty aggressive against these fort drops. Like, put pressure on the enemy and get these forts down. Bummer says, what were your trades like for the fort? I don't know if I saved it. I was in one of Barney's rallies. Okay, on the first rally on this fort, it was like, it wasn't Barney, it was Froppy. It was Froppy's rally. Froppy's Henry Zug was like 92k deads for us, 35k deads for them, right? And we're gonna do a bunch more rallies on this fort, and basically they're gonna get the better trades for sure, right? We're probably, I didn't get in too many of the rallies, but I think maybe we were probably taking like 150. I think probably we were taking like 150 to 200k more deads than them. I'm not exactly sure. But one, we were trying to get the fort down. Two, when you rally with Henry Zug, you're doing tons of AoE to everyone around you. The reason the rally was getting a bad trade is because they were swarming it. I think Sneaky was swarming a bunch of these rallies. So he was taking bad trades on the swarm and, you know, filling up his hospital. And we were really using, what we were doing at this point was we were using the rallies on the fort as a boost to our open field, where like the Zug AoE is doing damage to the enemy and it's boosting our open field. And, you know, we wanted that to like gradually allow us to win the open field and hopefully take this fort down. And I do think we got some very good open field trades in this fight. When I looked back on it later, I was like, oh, wow, I actually like, you know, my reports are basically like break even in this KvK. If I'm profitable, you know, if I'm profitable in this KvK, I'll be happy. You know, you can kind of see, you can see your trades to an extent here, where you see like how many units you killed versus how many units you healed. So I was like slightly positive in our last KvK. Now my stats are a little bit weird because A, I use a lot of T4. I use about half T4. And B, I do play quite aggressively. I tend to, you know, be very upfront, even though my marches are not that strong. Like I really don't have, I don't have great gear. I don't have all tier 5. I don't have like extremely high troop capacity, but I do tend to be in the front anyway. So my trades are not that great. But during this, when I look back on the reports of this you know, 20 or so minute battle we have here, my reports were actually quite good. And Algebra was saying he was getting like 4-to-1, 5-to-1 type trades. Oh, the new profile stats are great. The Autarch stats are great, and then the Ark of Osiris stats are also great. But I will be honest, I think I am going to be negative in this KvK. I hope I'm not horribly negative. I think I'm like a really good bellwether for like how the open field went. Where like if I broke even in the open field on this KvK, then I think we actually performed pretty well in the open field and traded pretty well. Because like I said, I'm like very upfront. I get distracted by doing leadership stuff, so like I don't always fight like super effectively. I don't do like any city hopping or any like, I'm not really like focused on my trades at all. So here Captain did the first rally. Like we were definitely like energetic, enthusiastic. So Captain threw a Tariq Lucci rally at this. I don't think this was a particularly good rally combination. But I did say to reinforce infantry anyway. Yeah, so that one went down fast. Bomber, yeah, we don't have a YouTube Discord. I don't have a YouTube Discord. I just have a link to the Handsome Devils. It's just our Alliance Discord. I am going to set up a Discord. I'm just slow to set certain things up, but I am going to set up a Discord because I just think it's a very good way to connect with the community. And so that is something I'm going to do. I just have to get it done, you know? Why am I here? Says I wish it broke out the tiers. T1 feeders looking like gods. You know, that's a really good point. I didn't think about that, but you're right. And also like, well, I guess the duelers, like people who kill trade, like I look like a kill trader, right? I look like a kill trader with these stats, where I'm just like doing duels with people that are like even duels, you know? But it does, yeah, it definitely seems to give value to like people who, people used to like throw T1 marches at you just to annoy you, to like screw up your stats. But now if it improves your Autarch stats, then it's kind of cool to kill tier 1 troops. Slowpoke, even Gooby has a Discord. Yeah, I mean, at first I was thinking about not doing one. Because, like, I don't know. I don't even know why. I don't know why. I can't even remember why I didn't want to do a Discord. I thought maybe I wouldn't participate very much. But the truth is I would participate in my own Discord quite a bit, so. It's basically because I got into that Friend.Tech thing, right? And so, like, Friend.Tech is, like, where you have your own channel. And, like, I see the value in being able to, like, you know, for people who you are fans of or supporters of or just people who you find interesting, I see the value in you know, just being able to like talk with them and ask them questions, and there being like sort of this, there's not an obligation to respond, but there's like a incentive for me to respond, right? There's incentive for me to like have a good Discord community, grow that Discord community, and be like less fully reliant on YouTube to like promote my videos and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely am gonna build one. I basically changed my mind on it. I wasn't gonna have one, and I changed my mind. So yeah, that's coming in the future for sure. All right, so let me fast forward. Oh, so here's what happened. This earlier, Why Am I Here was saying that it's difficult to fight in the open field 4 versus 2 because like you're just so outnumbered, and that's exactly what happened here. Like we definitely wore down the LX ball. There were times when we got the LX17 ball down to like very, very low, but Averni came over. Like Averni, you know, their fort was done, so they came over with their open field. They crossed that rock bridge, and they would like clear us out here. They would frequently clear us out here. So yeah, we just like, you know, we just had to like reball. We reballed, and then we killed the Averni. We killed Averni first. You know, we turned around and we killed Averni first because, you know, they're a little tastier anyway. So yeah, we're just clearing Averni out here, and then we're gonna set up for another assault on the 2217 fort because we're not done, and I think we haven't made our best effort yet. You know, we're still getting more people online, and you know, one of our whales ported to this like key front spot where they were like cutting off. Like here, I'll show you. Like this guy up here, right in the top. This whale here in the top, he ported to this spot. We were waiting a long time to get a whale into this spot, but he ported here, and then he was able to attack all of the 2217 reinforcements that were like coming down from the north. So I mean, we were gonna take another shot at this thing. Bomber, yeah, there's like a channel, there's like a social media channel in the Alliance Discord, and I do always notify that channel that I'm going live. But yeah, it's just like, oh, Bomber says Gooby has his KD Discord, but my KvK3 KD may be using it to spy because he messes up. Yeah, I think one of our plans got leaked by Discord one time. I think one of the Discords for our camp got breached, and one of our plans got leaked, and so we had to like change it. We had to like change this offensive that we were doing, which is actually a very good offensive. That's the offensive that I showed you guys last week, where we did a mountain hop and we did a fort drop. But yeah, so like here, did a rally just die? Is that what happened? Yeah. So like, I don't know, like this just seems promising to me. Like when I see a rally like this where we have a lot of the open field, it seems kind of promising. But I guess at the end of the day, they can just swarm it down. Like if you want a rally to die badly enough, you can just swarm it down. And we quite frankly did a very poor job there of protecting the rally. Like you have to get in the rally and you have to kill the swarmers. And we did a very poor job of that. And I think at various times in this KvK, we have done a poor job of protecting rallies from swarmers. Like there's just certain times where I'm like looking at the dot mode and I'm like, why is no one hitting these swarmers? Like, it's just not that complicated. It's the marches that are standing right around the rally. So I mean, I'll fast forward a little bit, but I mean, this just looks like, you know, the rally is probably going to launch in like 3 minutes, and it looks doable to me. But ultimately, you know, LX17, they just held on here. They just brought enough people back quickly enough, and then they just swarmed the rallies down every time. And I think this is really how you do defend one of these forts, is that you just, you know, you're probably going to take bad open field trades, right? You probably are, because you're going to take bad trades on the swarm. You're going to be pretty aggressive because your goal is really to do damage and stop the enemy from like pushing. Well, I don't know. I don't think you have to be that aggressive, but anyway, I think they did take some bad trades here. I think we definitely got some very good trades in the open field in this hour-long battle here. I don't know if the open fields. I don't know if our open field profits makes up for the deads we took against the fort. I'm not really sure. But, you know, considering we had a very good objective, a very key objective, I think, you know, getting an even trade while trying to accomplish a key objective, I think that's, you know, certainly better than some of the things that we have done in this KvK. But yeah, I think we've got a couple more rallies that we can still get on this. And again, like you're looking at it now, it's like we are clearing their ball. Like we are pretty much clearing their ball, it seems like. I mean, maybe that's overstating it a little bit. But we definitely have like a very nice numbers advantage. And our cities are closer than their cities. So I don't know, this seemed doable. Definitely seemed doable. Looks like Rabbit just got back into the fight with his murder ball. And you know, LX17, they just have a group. I'm not sure how many players I would put in the group, but they have a group of maybe 20 or 30 people who are very, very active. And you see the same names a lot. I'm sure they saw the same names with us. But I mean, you really see the same names with 2217. I mean, I could list off like 15 names that I see like all the time, right? Made in Hell, you see Made in Hell all the time. Made in Hell is probably one of their best players, I would say. You know, you see Rabbit quite a bit. You see Godric North quite a bit. You see Levitz all the time. You see Fatty. You see Big Al. You see, I mean, you see Pirate Paco and Demon Wolf at night. I'm trying to think of more of like the uptime people. You know, you see what's that guy's name? Like Ulrich or something like that. You see him all the time. You see Sneaky. You see I don't know. You see some other people. So I mean, they just have like a bunch of people who are very thick open field fighters, and that's tough to play against for sure. And it makes me appreciate these moments where we actually like sort of get the better of them. Like you know, I'm not exactly sure why on this particular day at this particular time we got the better of them, but yeah, I mean, part of it's because our cities are closer. Patty says, honestly, the worse the ratio, the better the fighter. Those with 1 to 3 are just looking for easy kills. Wyman here says, not really true. It can be, but it's not a certainty. Yeah, I don't know. Like, for me personally, my ratios are not that good because, like, I'm not that strong. Like, my open field just is not that strong. Like, I don't win. If I, like, were to get in, like, an even 5 versus 5 against someone at my power level, I lose those more often than I win them. Like, it's just reality. And that's partly because I've, like, built a bunch of garrison commanders, so I don't have, like, the latest meta commanders. Like, my 5th March is literally XY Minamoto. You know, or XY Mechmed, but I use Mechmed for auxiliary. And so, like, for me, like... So, I mean, this was another tough one, right? Like, it just got swarmed down. I think Sneaky just swarmed that one down. And we're running out of time at this point. We're definitely running out of time. I don't know. I think that, like... I think someone who has, like, a very good ratio tends to be, like, very, very thick and very hard to beat. And for me, the dream is to get to a point where I'm at the front line and I can stay at the front line. Like, I can... Because what I do is I go to the front line and then I get targeted and then I run away and pull the enemies into my, into my teammates. Because I know I have a bunch of teammates who chill in the back and are waiting for people to get pulled in. But the real dream is to have such a thick murder ball that I can stand at the front line and, like, trade positively while I'm at the front line and, like, not really run away. Like, maybe outmaneuver a little bit here and there. But I just think that is top tier open field. And Yeah, so here again, like why am I here brought up how it's a 4 versus 2 open field. Here again, what happened is we cleared them. We cleared their ball. But again, Averni was coming up right now. Like at this moment, Averni was coming up. And so we were just going to push north and try to kill north first, you know, even though we knew Averni would be here. We just was like, let's clear north first, and then with whatever we have left, we'll turn around and kill Averni. But yeah, we are going to eventually, we're going to get sandwiched here, right? Like it looks kind of good right now, but I don't know, this was one of those spots where maybe we should have retreated. I'm not really sure. Fatty says we had 3 guys TP'd in and it was their job to swarm rally and full send your ball. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's a good plan. Yeah, I mean it seemed fairly close here. I think what's good is we didn't go hardcore like we have to destroy this fort. This fort was not like this fort was not objectively devastating to us. And so we were just kind of like let's just get what we can get out of this. If we get an open field win right when kill event starts, then hey, that's what we'll get. But yeah, we can watch the last rally here. Actually, I'm not sure if the last rally is a fail or what. Yeah, so here's that squirt ball, right? Here's the squirt ball. I don't think the last rally is anything. I think we even cancel it because the squirt ball is pushing up on us. LX-17's marches are coming back, and we're just like smushed between 2 enemies, which makes it very easy for them to fight. Right? That's the problem. They're separated. They're isolated from each other, and so they can actually very easily fight us, and they never have much friendly fire. And so we kind of get wiped here, and that's pretty much the end of it. Gotta respect the guys that say charge and move to the back. I don't move to the back, but my philosophy is first one in, first one out. That's the best I can offer. As you know, as a T4 tank saying charge, the best that I can offer my teammate is first one in, first one out. But it's definitely an issue in this game. It's definitely an issue in this game. I was actually I was watching Chisgo's stream earlier. He's fighting in 2293. Actually, let's just I'm curious how that KvK is going, so we'll check in on it as I talk about this issue. I was watching Chisgo fight earlier in 2293. And first I will say, I honestly think some of the best war content in this game over the last couple years is Chisgo on his alt, like fighting in 2293. I think that content has been very good because he's just like, all he does is open field fight. He doesn't have to worry about anything else. He just kind of chill out and like really just talk about the game, talk about open field fighting. And one thing, so Chisgo's Kingdom is here in purple. They're 2293, and they're fighting the former Imperium 1647, which I'm sure I have heard has had some pretty significant departures or people retiring, that sort of thing. And it looks like 2293 is winning. They made a lot of progress today. I think they were like back. I don't know exactly where they were. I think they were like back here. Like when Chisgo woke up, I think they were back here or something. Oh, there still is. Oh, okay. This is weird. Wait, what is happening here? So they're flanking. They're like hard flanking, right? Oh, this is so weird. Yeah, this has been a very weird fight. It's almost like 1647 is like not trying too hard to like defend flags. Although obviously they're defending here. Unique is definitely defending here. So they're not able to get past Unique here. And then this is just kind of stalemated. I think we're getting into Asian uptime now, and so maybe 1647 will push back, but I mean, obviously this fort is like new. Oh, now they're building a fort here. So this is okay. So this is pretty good territory building here, I would say, from SIP. So SIP just flagged all the way past them, and then used these flags as protection against a fort at this pass. How do you prevent this? I guess you prevent this by actually building flags from this fort that you built like the day before, right? It's like this fort got built yesterday. This fort was built when the zone opened, and it destroyed some 2293 fort drops that were right here. But then I guess they just didn't build any flags at all. That's kind of crazy. Yenhao Chen, welcome to the stream. Hey, can you share the first ball in France? Yeah, sorry, Yen, I don't know Yenhao, I don't know exactly what you mean by that. Also, did you know 1393 was trying to drop the power by playing with your forts? I mean, I could see that. I could see that. I mean, we were trying to drop their power too, right? Like, we were trying to, like, wear them down. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, there's nothing we... That's the best we could have done with our troops, is we could have defended forts that are being swarmed, gotten good trades, you know, overall, but not, like, amazing trades, and, like, try to deplete our enemies. Like, that's exactly what we needed to do. But this is, like, a huge bogey right here by 1647. Like, this is just... I mean, this is just... This just says to me that they were not really trying to win this zone. Like, this fort drop could easily be prevented by simply spending the last 24 hours building flags from this alt alliance. Like, that's just completely nuts. But kind of interesting. I would say this kind of wins the zone for SIP. But anyway, what Chisco was saying earlier, he was fighting in the open field, and he was just like, he was playing in dot mode, and he was like looking at the ball, and he was like, what are all these people doing so far back? Why is like everyone so far back, you know? And it's like, I think we all deal with that, right? Like, that's a big part of the meta, is just that people, like, there's so many people are just in the back of the ball, and they just are not aggressive, and they're just not playing correctly. They're playing too much for their own trades and too much for their own contribution. And it definitely hurts. Like, it definitely... A team would fight better if they had fewer people in the back of the ball. And a team would fight better if they had more people trying to be right at the front. Like, the more people you have at the front, the better you fight, basically. I mean, there's a few other principles involved, but, like, that's a very good principle. Is, like, try to be at the front. Like, be at the front, but don't get pulled in. I mean, it's hard, right? Like, I think the reason we see so many people in the back is because it's hard to play from the front. Like, you need really good control of your marches to play from the front. Adinala says, didn't 393 ignore our forts? Well, they swarmed the forts that we dropped, right? They swarmed the forts that were, you know, from our fort drop. There was like one night where they just swarmed the forts over and over again. And Captain and I were defending it. They swarmed the forts that were over here. You know, the forts we put over here, like N70P. They swarmed the N70P fort a lot, and the URT fort. Oh yeah, why am I here? That's correct. That's correct. That's how you guys gotta fight them. You guys can outplay them. You can hard outplay them in the field. If you why am I here? Like, one of the main people you want to pull in is Ting Beth, because Ting Beth, somebody's just throwing Ting Beth's account. Like, they just throw Ting Beth's account at you, and then they go on their other account and play the other account. So, like, Ting Beth, you can always pull Ting Beth out of position and kill Ting Beth very, very easily. There's probably a couple other ones, but it's like hard to tell their names when they're like Chinese characters. But yeah, like, certain players are just getting, their marches are just getting thrown at you, and then somebody's controlling a different account after that. Thanks, have a good one. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, can you show the first murder ball that 70 did in France? Oh, you know, I actually did show that earlier in the stream. I mean, I'll show it to you again just for you know, just because you're asking, because I can show it real quick. Yeah, I'll show you that. I'll show it too. I'll show it again. It's painful, but I'll show it again. If this opens. I don't know why I can't fast forward this video right from the start. Yeah, so here's the ball. Here's the ball. Here, let me back it up a little bit for you. Yeah, here's the ball. Here's our first ball in France. We'll watch it again. Whatever. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I will say the balls in this KvK are like pretty freaking big, man. Like, if you watch other KvKs that are going on, and you see the size of these balls, they're pretty big. You know, I think this is a pretty competitive KvK. You know, we're going pretty hard at each other. It's gotten a little bit, I would say it's gotten a little bit overly trash talky at times, but I think this is a pretty big KvK that we're in. I think there's a lot of good kingdoms here, and I think the size of the balls are quite big. Obviously, you guys' ball is bigger here, but like, you know, at the end of the day, it's 15 days in and we're still fighting you guys, and we're trading like pretty well. So, yeah, you know. But yeah, you had how asked, and I had it, you know? I had the first murder ball that 70 did in France. There it is. I never really know what to do in fights like this. Like, I go pretty far back, right? Because I just know that if I face tank a fight like this, I'm just not going to do anything. Like, I'm just going to die so fast if I face tank a fight like this. If this was an even fight, though, if this was an even fight, like if both balls were the same size, then absolutely the correct thing to do is throw your marches at the enemy, do as much damage as possible, do not care about the trade, and die relatively quickly, because all you're trying to do is the most damage possible. In an even big murder ball fight like this, where there's like some objective importance, all you do is you go in and you do as much damage as you can, as quickly as you can. That's it. It's not about your trade, it's about the amount of damage you put out. Dad Go Where? Alan Go, welcome to the stream. We are always outnumbered by 1 to 3. Yeah, we've been outnumbered a lot. We've been outnumbered a lot, for sure. Not always. I mean, we've had some moments. We've had our moments, you know. As Jon Snow said one day when we were sort of like, you know, it was like a day after we had taken some losses or whatever. Jon Snow was like, it's always nice to log in and see like the possibility of good trades, right? And so we've tried to like find opportunities to give people good trades. They've been hard to find, but we've tried to find them, you know, here and there. And but yeah, this was a rough one. This was definitely a rough one right here. Adinabo says, yeah, if you got numbers on 393, you can get so many kills. Yeah, I mean, 903, man, you guys can put in some work, man. You guys can put in some work in this King's Land, I'm telling you. Because they're very open field focused. Like, they want to like win the open field and like then swarm your flags. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna win the open field and swarm your flags. But if you guys can beat them in the open field, they have weaknesses at that point. At that point, they're not quite as sure what to do. So, I mean, we're really fingers crossed that that vaunted 903 murder ball is going to put in some serious freaking work. Why Am I Here says, you guys have done amazing for the position you were in. Haven't had a lot of time to watch, but stats show you've been slapping back. All intentions to meet you soon. Yeah, we want to. I want to link up with you guys so bad. I want to link up with our allies so freaking bad. Alan Go says, invest in Auvergne. They give the best trades. Yeah, they give good trades. It's not the best trades. Like, we're just like very like, we're like very grizzled. So like to us, Auvergne is like really good trades. But like the truth is, they're like, they're definitely decent, right? They're like actually a decent camp. So like there's people out there who are like way better trades than Averni. But yeah, compared to fighting 1818, 1903, and now 2217 and 1393, yeah, Averni is like very tasty compared to that for sure. Bomber says, course it is. 903 is a KD full of mean ducks. Yeah, man, listen. I take back anything negative I ever said about 903. You know, you guys are my heroes now. So, you know, I've honestly like I've genuinely never rooted for. I've never been rooting for like allies as much as I'm rooting for 903, 1020, and 2313 right now. Like, I just want you guys to do so freaking well and win this KvK. Like, I would just be thrilled if that happened. And I'm sure all of us would be, because, you know, we worked like super hard and it just feels more worth it if we win. If we lose, it's kind of like, well, we worked hard and we got some good experience out of it and we sort of like did what we could do, but we still lost. But if we worked really hard and then win, hey, that's the best feeling in the game right there. Why am I here says 2074 was tough, but 2199 is as free as trades get. Yeah, why am I here? I apologize for forgetting that you were 903. Like, now your name is becoming more familiar to me, and I remember that you were hanging out in the stream last KvK as well. Oh, looks like Peerless Scholar is up. I mean, I'm just going to do it because... Well, actually, I didn't qualify for it. I'm going to start doing Peerless Scholar again. I never do this. But, like, I need to get on the grind. I need to grind, like, harder than I've grinded in the past. Which I already grind this game, like, super freaking hard. But I just have to grind it even harder. Because we were just, like, so outclassed in terms of, like, resources and speed-ups. Our opponents had so many more resources and so many more speed-ups than we had. And maybe more troops. I don't even know. I mean, the power was obviously the same, but it just kind of felt like they just had like a lot more whales with like a ton of troops. Maybe they just marshaled the resources better than we did. But it just taught us that we have to grind even more. Like, as much as we do grind, and like, even though we do like 1+1 forts and stuff, we just have to do more. Like, we just have to do more. We have to have everybody be more prepared. We have to come into a KvK like this with more resources. Although I don't think resources were really our problem, to be honest. I think we still have resources. So. Bomber says, I'll never forget the Lohar T5 March with Max Tech I saw. No, it's Shady. Okay, okay. Gotcha. Yep, very familiar opponent. That boy Shady. Everybody be sure to throw a like on the stream if you have not done so already. Really good turnout tonight for the stream. Great chat as always. Always enjoy these Friday night streams. You guys make it so fun just being super active in chat and being able to talk about the more interesting issues in Rise of Kingdoms. I will be doing Champions of Olympia here pretty soon. I have no armaments to open, unfortunately. I don't have anything to open. I'm saving my materials at this point for the new Cav gear. Because, I'm a garrison captain, and so I need to really focus on that one really good set of gear. So I'm saving materials. I'm pretty good on blueprints. I have to say that the thing I really want to devote more gems to is our gold, our wheels, right? I want to spin the Huo wheels. And the reason I want to spin Huo wheels is because I want to get Huo done as quickly as possible so that I can move on to Lucci. My plan, here's my plan. Here, let me show you my plan. My plan is this. Okay, so right now I have Guan Scipio. I have Nevsky Joan. I have Boudica Zug. I have Justin William. And then my 5th March is XY William. So my plan is I'm going to build Huo next. And then I'm actually going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to run Huo Joan. I'm going to run Nevsky William. And then I'm going to run XY Justinian. And those are actually the 3 cav marches that Seawill uses. You know, Seawill uses 6 marches, 3 of them are cav, and those are the exact 3 cav marches that Seawill uses. So I feel pretty good about that. I feel good about that. At that point, what I'm going to do, because I really don't feel like I need to go to a 6th march. I don't think that there's that many KvKs where I'm using a 6th march all that often. Like, I just get it too late in the Crystal Tech tree. I'm getting special medicines first. I'm generally putting some points into Call to Arms. I just don't think I ever get that 6th march. So after I build Huo and have those 3 cav marches, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build Lucci. I'm going to build Lucci and run Scipio Lucci as my 1 infantry march. Because from what I'm hearing, from what people like Algebra are saying, Scipio Lucci is the best open field infantry march in the game. And Lucci is extremely, extremely strong. I mean, I don't have him, and I'm not seeing the trades, so I don't know like what tier exactly to put him in. But my inclination is to put Lucci in the Scipio, Zug, Boudica, Nevsky tier. I think Lucci is probably better than Huo overall, although Huo is very good. I think Lucci's probably better than Huo, and I think he's probably a top 5 open field commander. And let's just go over his skills again here. The smite damage, I'm sure, hits very hard. And me having arch formation, the smite damage will be a little bit better than for most people. So the smite damage plays into my armament game as is. The big thing about Lucci is this AoE 40% slow. You can feel this. You can feel this. You can feel the fact that Lucci is out there because you are trying to run away from people and you get slowed and wrecked more often now than you did 3 months ago, right? Like I fought in a very competitive KvK with tons of open field 3 months ago, and I was not getting caught out and slowed and wrecked as often as I'm getting slowed and wrecked now. And that's because of Lucci. That's because of this AoE slow on Lucci. So this skill is just extremely strong. I mean, this is arguably like the best first skill in the game. I want to say Scipio's skill is like amazing. Like I want to say Scipio's first skill is like really, really good. Let me look at it. Yeah, so I mean, Scipio does the 2000 damage factor AoE. And then he also reduces health to 3 targets by 30%. So yeah, I mean, Scipio's is extremely good. I mean, is a 30% health debuff more powerful than a is this more powerful than a 40% slow? I don't think so. I think a 40% slow hitting 5 people is more powerful than a 30% health reduction. People could argue that. But actually, Lucci's nuke is better, right? Scipio's doing 2000 damage factor to 3 targets, but Lucci is doing. He's doing 2250 smite damage to 5 targets. So I think Lucci's first skill is better than Scipio's first skill. And then he's giving you... I actually didn't realize that Lucci gives 20% march speed. I did not realize that. So then he's giving 20% defense, 20% march speed, and 20% skill damage taken reduction, which you can definitely tell that Lucci is tanky. Like, Lucci is definitely very tanky. He's not the first choice to target. Like, when I target Lucci, he goes down real slow. Real slow. Then they're going to get 20% attack, which boosts the smite damage. And then it gets the and then it has the additional chance. It has and then it does a little bit of smite damage. A chance to do smite damage on each normal attack. And then what do we have here? 10% normal attack damage bonus, or 10% normal attack damage bonus. And it does a slight damage debuff. And then the extra skill and the expertise is the 25% chance to launch a normal extra attack, which is super good. Super good. So I mean, Lucci is awesome. He is super strong. Like super strong. To the point where I kind of want to build him before I build Huo. And the only reason I'm not doing that is because I just want to have like the 3 really good cavalry marches, like rather than running like friggin' XY Minamoto or something, you know? Or like XY Mechmed. Why am I here? Says, personally, if you run 1 infantry march, I'd not spend the 700 heads on replacing Guan. And then Bomber says, Lucci is OP though. Why am I here? Says, I know I use him, but 1 infantry march, I just stick with Guan Scipio if it's already maxed. It's tough. It's really tough. I mean, that's really the question, right? Is like, do I really replace the Guan? Because the Guan is pretty good. I've got the Guan Scipio in place. Like, am I really going to spend 700 heads just to like upgrade a march I already have? But I mean, I'm going to get to a point where the choice is going to be, I mean, the choices are either I work towards a 6th march, where like I start building like a 2nd infantry march or a 2nd archer march, because I don't want to build a 4th cav march. I don't really love having 3 cav marches. I would rather be 2-2-2 or 2-2-1. So I mean, the choices for me are like after Huo, the choices for me are, do I like wait for a new archer commander and upgrade the Boudica Zug? Or do I upgrade the Guan Scipio? Or do I save for garrison commanders? Or do I work on a 6th march? And given those choices, it pretty much is, do I wait for a garrison commander or do I build Lucci? And I don't think a cav garrison, I think I'll get up to 1,400 gold heads before there's a new cav garrison, right? I think I get heads fast enough. That doesn't tell me anything. I think I get heads fast enough that I can. I mean, I only have 77 right now, but I think I can get 1,400 heads before there's like a new cav garrison. And so in that case, it gives me like the ability to have Lucci. And I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's a good upgrade. I think it's a pretty good upgrade. Knight, welcome to the stream. Dex is going to kill me if he notices I wasn't playing tank for quite a while. Oh, it's all good, Knight. Good to have you here. Alan Ghost says, eventually you need to max Lucci, just do it. Yeah, that's sort of my attitude, right? Like, I have to do it. I'm probably going to do it eventually. He's probably as good as Scipio, right? Yeah, I mean, there could be like an amazing. Like, here's the thing, right? Like, there might be an amazing archer. There might be an amazing archer open field commander that comes out, but then I would be replacing Boudica. And I just think Boudica is probably better than Guan, right? Like, I think it's more reasonable to replace Guan than it is to replace Boudica. But it is marginal. Like, it is marginal. You know, upgrading from Guan to Lucci, it is marginal. The other thing that Lucci does for me is that it gives me the chance to build a 2nd infantry march down the road. Like, maybe something will come out that's like a good pair for Guan, or maybe something will come out that's a good pair for Lucci, and then I can go back to Guan Scipio and run like Lucci new person. You know, it gives me that ability to have 2 infantry marches. And then maybe like replace my one of my weaker cav marches. So, you know, that's my plan right now. My plan right now is like maybe do a max Huo wheel just to speed up my gold head attainment a little bit. Get Huo for next KvK, and then hopefully have Lucci sooner rather than later. The only problem with that is that if I use gems for Huo heads, then I'm not using gems for materials, and I'm going to need a ton of materials as a garrison captain, upgrading my cav equipment. I'm here says, well, in a KvK like this, Flavius is fieldable with auxiliary skills, so second march already done. What would I run in that case though? With those 4 infantry marches, Flavius, Lucci, Guan, and Scipio, what would I run? Maybe I mean Lucci Flav would be so tanky. I mean, but I mean the Guan and the Scipio do synergize so well together. So it's, I guess it'll be Lucci Flavius. And he just gives a bunch of stats there. Ancient One, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. He's got this counterattack. And then when launching a normal attack against a target inflicted with additional damage effect, there's a 100% chance of inflicting silence for 2 seconds. So this might, so the extra normal attack might, it might trigger, no, I don't think it would trigger this more often. I don't think Lucci would trigger this proc more often. Decreases normal attack damage taken by 10%. I mean, so yeah, Lucci Flavius will be interesting in just in the sense that it would be out in the field forever. And you wouldn't really have to retreat it. Like, it would be like the last march you ever retreat because it would be so tanky. And so maybe you could like put a lot of these stacks on people. That would be kind of interesting. What is this stack though? Oh, it's this. Okay, it's increasing damage they take from infantry. I guess Lucci Flavius would be kind of interesting. It's like a debuffing march almost. A tanky debuffing march. So yeah, I don't know. There's just like so much to do. There's always like so much to do in this game. You know, I mean, whales have all the advantages in war. In a war like this, right, where like everyone's worn out, it really is the whales. It really is the whales who are still around. Like when they were surrounding our fort last night and stuff, it was just the whales, right? It was the whales that were standing around. Everyone else is depleted. So whales do have like a ton of advantages in this game, and they get to like in some ways have more fun than the rest of us. But building our account is very fun. As like a low spender or free to play, like building our account is like really fun because we have so many choices to make. We have so many like sort of interesting, complex choices that we have to make. So it's like I could, this was like, I don't know why I changed like this. This is ridiculous. But you know, it's like I could push the Huo heads. I could push the commander angle, but then that would hurt my equipment. And I have to make those kind of trade-offs. And I could go completely ham in a KvK like this, which is what I did. I went completely ham. I'm using everything that I have. But then that makes it hard for me to upgrade to full tier 5, right? Now I'm going to be back to like half tier 5, half tier... I have a bunch of troops in the hospital, by the way. I have more troops than this, but they're in the hospital. I'm going to be back to like 50% tier 5, 50% tier 4 after this KvK, even though my goal was to be heavy tier 5. You know, I took about the same. I took about the same number of tier 4 and tier 5 deads, but I lost a lot of T5 cav. You know, I really liked the T5 cav that I have. I have a lot of cavalry boosts from my city skin and my good equipment. So losing all that T5 cav hurts, and that sets me back as well. And I failed this chain horribly, all right. So yeah, there's just always so much to do. I lost all my resources, all the resources that I've built up. I had a storehouse of resources for years. And I lost all those resources in this KvK. So I have to rebuild the storehouse of resources. I have to up my farm game big time. There's just a lot of freaking stuff to do. There's a lot of stuff to do. Isaac says, I'm in my first KvK heavy tier 5 and I'm dreading the bill. So Isaac, my advice would be, my advice is to be very aware of Crystal.Tech and be very aware of what you're capable of from a resource perspective. And also be aware of like when your kingdom is going to have important fights. Because for us, it was a very, very big deal that we had to fight in Zone 5. And we did not have most of us did not have special medicines for that fight. Because in the last KvK, I waited until Zone 6. Like, we didn't fight until Zone 6. And I basically had both special medicines, like, completely maxed out. And so my bills were not that bad last KvK. Like, yeah, I used more T5 than I'd ever used. But my bills were just not that bad. Like, I didn't run out of resources. I didn't have to tap anybody for additional resources. Whereas this time I just ran out. I just completely ran out of resources and I had to tap other people to send me some. So I would just be aware of like the Crystal.Tech. And if you're worried at all about resources, get the special medicine stuff because the special medicines is extremely good value. It's extremely, extremely good value. Like, I was a garrison captain and I nevertheless bypassed getting as much like damage as I could to put my like last crystals into like special medicines. Because it was just such incredibly good value. I mean, look at this. 25% minus 25% resource healing cost there. And then another 15% here. Minus 40%. Minus 40% resource healing cost. Knight says, my first B seed KvK right now. Although we won, I begged a lot of gold. I used way more than I normally did in 1252, probably because I swarmed a lot. Yeah, I mean, gold is the bottleneck. Gold is the bottleneck for sure. But I mean, it all goes when you fight with tier 5. I will say the other thing that I am just frustrated by after a KvK like this, where I just spent a godly amount of speed ups on healing. Like, I probably spent like 750 days of speed ups on healing, something like that. It bums me out that I'm not France, and that I'm not getting this 20% hospital healing speed. You know, I mean, I kind of have to be cavalry as a garrison. And then also I did rally sometimes in this KvK. So I mean, I think Arabia is reasonable for me. I think it's reasonable to be Arabia. But I could totally... it may be the case that I would have been better off being France. I'm losing that rally bonus, but troop health 3% is not that different than cav health, or than cav attack 5%. And I'm getting the 20% hospital speed. My gosh, that's a lot of speed ups. That's saving me a lot of speed ups there. The main reason I actually use Arabia instead of like France or Ottoman is just the special unit. The special units you have for a troop type are actually like very strong. They're like a pretty nice little upgrade. And you know, because I'm running like 3 cav marches, I just think that special unit is like giving me a lot of value. Yeah, Isaac, definitely. Yeah, I had never like focused too much on special medicines before last KvK, and it was like the night before the fighting, and I was just kind of like looking at my tech, and I was like, what should I focus? Like, you can go different directions, right? You can either you can either like focus on all damage, you can focus on troop capacity, or you can like make sure all your troop types have like the full attack, the max attack, or you can do special medicines. And I was just looking at it. I was like, what am I, like, I was looking at my choices. And I was looking at that 40% reduced healing cost, and I was like, I can't pass this up, you know? I cannot pass this up. And then I had that experience, and I can compare it to this KvK, and I can tell you from just firsthand experience that special medicines is really good value. It's really, really good value. I don't know if anybody can tell, but I'm definitely rusty at chaining barbs. Like, I forget how fast the double C kills stuff, and I look away, and then it's, Oh, Acker Levi was the name I was thinking of earlier. I was trying to think of another, 22-17 player that I see all the time. It was Acker Levi that I was thinking of. Oh, Isaac, it's not, it doesn't reduce the speed ups. It just reduces the resource costs. It reduces the resource costs of tier 5 only, I believe. Yeah, it doesn't reduce the speed. It doesn't. Oh, for France. For France. Yeah, I don't think it's quite 20% because it's additive. It's not like a 20% on top of what you already have. It's just like 20% added on to the healing speed bonuses you already have. Which I can show you my healing speed bonuses. We can look at this. I don't even know what they are. Yeah, so I mean, I already have 95% healing speed. Right, I already have 90% healing speed. So if I had France, I would be at 115% healing speed. So it's not really like 1 day on a 5-day heal. It's I'm not good enough at math to know, but it's basically it's increasing my healing speed bonus from 95% to 115%. But it definitely adds up because I used to be France and I used to like compare these things. Or actually, you could compare it with like a 15% healing speed rune, right? You can like look at how much it would cost to heal your hospital, and then you can grab the 15% healing speed rune and see like how much cheaper it is, and that gives you like a pretty good feel for what France will do for you. And it's pretty significant if I remember correctly. It's like I want to say it's like 4 or 5 hours on like a pretty significant heal, right? Like maybe like it might even be like 8 hours. You know, like on a near full hospital, I want to say it's something like, you know, I don't know, somewhere between like 5 to 8 hours bonus from France, which that just adds up. I mean, that really adds up over time. Hopefully I get a good armament soon. I have not gotten a good armament in quite a while. And I'm just gonna save my transmutation stones, I guess, for the next KvK. I don't even know. Do I have any stones right now? Not really. I can probably recycle a bunch of stuff. I won't do it on stream, but... yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think my armaments are, like, pretty decent at the moment. But it's always been fun to upgrade those. Oh, this is... hey, look at this. Look at this. We got a special. We got a special, baby. We got a cutscene that we cannot skip. Knights is special medicine plus France plus Persian is dope, though. I used it, but I got low special medicine. Ah, look at this! Look at this garbage. How is this a special? I thought the special ones were always legendaries. Yeah, so I did a non-skippable cutscene and got a freaking triple line with siege stats on it. RIP. All right, let me just get through these real quick. And then I think I'll do Champions of Olympia. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Like and subscribe if you've not done so already. I stream every Friday night at this time. And try to throw some other streams in there from time to time. Once our war ends, I will definitely spectate other KvKs. Those streams have gone pretty well in the past. So, looking forward to doing that more. And definitely going to do a bunch of videos. You know, it's just one of those things. This war has taken all my time. It's taken absolutely all of my time. And, you know, if things had been happening tonight, if there had been some fighting tonight, I I might not have even streamed. I might have had to like just deal with the fighting. Did anything happen here? Nope. Looks like everybody. Looks like the fight here ended. Nothing changed. Nothing changed here. See, it's been a quiet night. It's actually been probably one of the quieter nights of this war so far. Where just very, very little has happened. There wasn't even a lot of fighting yesterday, to be quite honest. They had that fort drop, and that was the biggest fighting. Because I barely fought. I barely fought yesterday. And I'm actually 11th in I'm 11th in Mightiest Governor. And it looks like I got probably 11th yesterday. And I really did not fight that much. So for me to get 11th yesterday, it just means there was not a lot of fighting going on. Because I just did not fight very much at all. Yeah, more than gems should be soon for sure. Skill-based armament drops. Sorry, bud. Dude, I am very skill-based at armaments. I have like 5 double inscriptions. I agree, it's very skill-based. The two UR forts is dying. There's a couple farm cities there which are going to be zeroed. I think Psy Angel is going to be okay. Let me ping Psy Angel. If Psy Angel's still there, I'm going to ping. I need to ping that. There's nobody at URD. Oh wait, there is one. Oh, Denny? Oh, I hope Denny doesn't get zeroed. Benny has had a lot of farms get zeroed in this KvK, to be honest. Let me... I probably shouldn't have said that on stream, but... What about that, the URT fort? Oh, Greg's not getting zeroed. I can guarantee you Greg's not getting zeroed. This dude is the most unique player in this game. Greg is literally the most unique player I've ever seen in this game. Like, look at his power. Look at his kill points. Look at the kind of work he puts in. He plays Arc on a regular basis. Look at his deads. And he just goes around doing so much interesting stuff, you know? Picking off enemies, he'll like help with like fort drops and like filling up forts and stuff, you know, filling up fort drops. Greg is such a unique player. I think he might even have ranged. I think he might even have a ranged march. Let's see. Where do you see ranged points nowadays? Oh no, he doesn't have ranged. Sorry, I take that back. Yeah, no, but thank you, Alan. I will, I am contacting these people. I mean, this one has a few hours left on it. So Psy Angel has a few hours left on it. But I guess I would agree that there's like no reason to still be here. All right, I'm gonna just, here, wait, actually, let me make sure this chain goes well. This one seems doable. So I'm a little rusty. I should have had non-simplified graphics on this whole time. It's been a while since I chained while live streaming. All right, guys, give me 1 minute. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, grab a water, and then we'll play Champions of Olympia. If anybody wants to play COO with me, just say so in chat, and I will add you. It's very casual, unranked. So yeah, if anybody wants to play COO, let me know. Bomber, I don't know like exactly what Greg is doing. It's not, he doesn't have tier 1s. I think he has like, no, because he can fight. He's able to fight. I honestly don't know exactly what this dude, I don't know what he does exactly. His kill points are not tier 1, right? He obviously fights with tier 4 and tier 5 because he's getting like tier 4 and tier 5 KP. So yeah, he's just like a really unique player. Knight says, any recommendations for chaining with CC, but I don't have Hera or Zug? Yeah, I would just use I would use YSG then. I would use YSG. Alrighty, Bomber. So Tay has the Jan Garrison as well. Yeah, so I just have the I see what Tay was saying about they don't have the KvK weapon and stuff. But yeah, like a very good Garrison there. And probably good armaments too. Oh yeah, wow, nice, very nice armaments. Oof. Yeah, I mean Tay has better armaments than I have, to be honest. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, Bomber, I will join in a few minutes. I need to actually bring these marches home. I forgot that I have my gear on these marches, so like I gotta get them back to the city. Put them on the right commander. Yeah, I mean, I will show my Jan armaments. Like, they're honestly not that great. Like, I feel like what Tate just showed is like probably way better than mine, to be honest. Like, Tate's armaments look way better than mine. I mean, these look really good. I mean, that looks like a really good armaments right here. Like, what is this? I don't know exactly what Brawler, Vengeful, and Militant are, but I'm gonna guess this is something like, this is like 2.5% of stats. I think Brawler's maybe 2.5%. Let's say Vengeful's 2.5%. That's 7.5%. Hunter is like 15% of stats. That's, my gosh, this is like one of the best armament sets I've ever seen. So we're saying like 7. Well, let's say these three are 7. Hunter is 15. That's 22% of stats. What's Unstoppable? Okay, so 22%, 32%, 42%, 49%. 49% plus whatever Unstoppable is, which we'll take a look at. Tay honestly has some of the best armaments that I've ever seen right there. That is amazing. What am I looking for? So Tay has 49% plus Unstoppable. So the 5% extra skill damage right off the bat is 6.25% of stats. So it's 55% of stats. And then this extra effect here, when dealing direct damage to a target, damage has a 30% chance to be boosted by 10%. So I mean, the damage boost on the damage boost on skill damage would be 10%. So that's like 10%. That's 10% skill damage. Which is 12.5% of stats, but it only happens 30% of the time. So that's like 4% more. So when I add up Tay's armaments here, what I am seeing is 59% of stats right here. That's what I see. I see 59% of stats on these armaments. That is amazing. That is amazing. Like, that's Yoda. That's Yoda level armaments right there. Holy smokes. I think we, I think we, uh, I think we hit this garrison a few times, actually. I think we hit this garrison a few times. Oh yeah, Tay is definitely a big hitter, for sure. Wow. Pretty new account, 30 million deads. Yep. Yeah, Tay, if you ever want to migrate to 770, you are welcome. You are welcome to replace me as the #1 cavalry garrison in the Handsome Devils. I will step right to the side for that set of armaments right there. They got some serious rolls in transmutation. Probably, yeah. But they got amazing inscription drops also. Like they got that unstoppable. You know, that unstoppable is an incredible drop. All right, so let me set up my marches here for champions, and then me and Bomber will play. And if anybody else wants to play, that will be good. And we're just waiting for the Zoog to get back into town. Awesome. Still a very good number of people watching. That is always very encouraging for me. Seems like my streams peak partway through and then they slowly slow down as time goes on. I think that means that maybe some of my content is better at the front. I use Arch. I use Arch formation. Here, Tay, I will I'll let go. Also, I said that Tay had 59% of stats on their armaments. I'll show you how I'm adding up mine, right? So destructive is a little bit difficult because this secondary effect is like questionable in general, but against swarms it's quite good because it reduces rage but gives you like normal attack, which I don't know for sure that this adds to counterattack damage, but I think it probably does. So I don't know. For me, I give this like 5% of stats. I give destructive 5% of stats. Desperado's very good for a garrison. 2% less damage is basically 5% of stats, but it's not happening all the time. So I would give this probably like 4% of stats. So I have 9% of stats here on my armaments, 13.5, 20.3, 25.3, and then all damage wise, I have what did I have? 25? Sorry, I'm gonna do this the opposite way. So this is like 8.7 of stats, 17.7 of stats, 21.7, 22.2, 29, 34. So I have like 34% of stats, whereas Tay has like 59% of stats. That's like a really big difference. That's 25% of stats difference on our Yan garrisons. Now I'm probably getting some of that back from my gear, right? I'm getting a bit of that back on my gear, where I'm getting like 32.5% of stats on my weapon, whereas Tay-Tay's getting 25%. So I'm getting 7.5% of stats back on that. I'm getting 19.5 versus like I'm getting another like 5% here. So I'm getting like 12.5% of those back on my gear. And maybe I'm doing a little bit better with the horn, the crit horn, than the vengeance in some situations. So it kind of like, yeah, it's interesting to compare those things, right? Where I have the better gear, Tay-Tay has the better armaments. Overall, I would give Tay-Tay about a 12% advantage in stats compared to me. Yeah, I use Arch, Tay-Tay, just Okay, so Banks wants to play as well. Yeah, Bomber, I'll invite you. I'll invite you. Where's the Boudica? Yeah, so I did Arch Formation because I wanted to just be as strong as I could possibly be against swarms. You know, I basically went the Arch Formation route before Hera was in the game. So I just wanted to be like as strong as I could possibly be against swarming, you know? So I went Arch Formation. And then, and we'll play Siona in a second, but the other reason I went Arch Formation is because Invincible is freaking amazing. Like this inscription that you get way down the road when you get 8 of these inscription shards, Invincible is amazing. Increases skill damage resistance by 5%, but then as a garrison captain, their troops deal 3% extra normal attack damage up to 12% to target troops for every 20% of units the target has lost. So in a long rally situation, you're getting an additional 12% normal attack damage from this inscription, plus 5% skill damage resistance. So this is an absolute monster of an inscription. 12% normal attack damage is basically 6% all damage. When you multiply that by a 2.5x multiple, that gives you 15% of stats on this. Now, obviously, it's a little bit less because it's conditional. But let's say it's 12% of stats. And you're getting 5% skill damage resistance, which is another like 6% of stats. So you're looking, or 6.5% of stats. So you're looking at basically like 18% of stats on this inscription, which is actually more valuable than Hunter by a few points. So I'm kind of building for the long term with Arch Formation. And, you know, with smite damage going into the game, I think that has made my decision a little bit better. All right, let me make sure my lineup is correct. Yep. All right. Let me throw some invites out there. Banks. And to Bomber. Oops. Yeah, and if anybody else wants to play COO with us, let's do it. Let's look at Banks' main account. Ay. What does he have? What commanders does Banks have? Banks basically didn't play for like over a year. He probably didn't play for 18 months. And I guess he's back now. Fighting in the biggest KvK in the game's, one of the biggest KvKs in the game's history. So. That seems like a great inscription for Lucci. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Oh yeah, my Cav set is nice for sure, Isaac. This was like the one KvK that I just got the best in slot Cav stuff like before this KvK. So I'll have this one KvK where I have the best in slot stuff, and then the new equipment's gonna come. The new equipment system is gonna come out like any day now, and then I will once again like never have best in slot again. I had it for just this one brief moment in time, and it was nice. It was actually nice. Got a lot of good garrison reports, and I had at least one really nice Justin rally when I double rallied. I'll maybe show that right at the end of the stream, that video. All right, so here we are in COO. Let's simplify the graphics. Let me buff my teammates. Buff this guy. What do we got against us here? They look like they have really good commanders, actually. Better commanders than us, so let's see how this goes. Does Bomber have good commanders? Oh, Bombers. Oh, we're very outgunned here. We're very outgunned here. I forgot to rage load us. Oh well. All right. Yeah, we're in some trouble. I guess I didn't play this correctly. I should have waited for Bomber. All right, coming back out. I think I'm gonna go back here because that guy was pretty low. So maybe, I mean, he's probably healed by now, but I don't know. We'll go. I'm going back to this one. Right, let me buff this Scipio here from Banks. What's Banks using? Okay, all infantry, of course. Oh shit, that didn't work. I don't really need to help Banks here, but I'm just going to make sure he lives. So we can go somewhere else together. Bomber says commanders are a work in progress. No, it's all good. It's all good. Honestly, we'll get our gold heads regardless. One way or another, we're going to get our gold heads. Let's take this guy out, you know? Let's take this dude out. I'm going to dump everything on him. We're on the Henry. We're on the Henry. Now let's get on the Boudica, I think. Anyway. Good job, good job. Nice win. Nice win, nice win. Alright, they're all killing the thief, so I'm gonna snipe this real quick. I always forget to like rage load. You know? Oh, I didn't kill the XY. Shit. I'm gonna turn the music up a little bit, just because they do tend to get a little quieter during COO. And also, this is a very good song. Alright, yeah, Banks, we'll take this fight. We'll take this fight. I'll surrender after this, but let's kill this guy first. Let's do the Nevsky. Oh, you're in the Huo. I'm doing the Nevsky. Got him. Got him. I think this guy has the right idea, actually. I think this thief is going to be right here in the middle. Or not. Oh, it's way over here. This is such a weird game. People are like just standing around, chilling. I almost want to say that my control feels better in this fight. Maybe it's just because the opponents are kind of weak, but I feel like I'm playing a little bit better than I usually play in this Champions Olympia. Maybe I'm like in really good shape after like fighting so much lately. I don't know. I just need to get better at like preloading the skill I use that like gives me rage. I need to like start using it before the fight starts. All right, let's run it back, boys. Let's run it back. Isaac says, hey bro, maybe you can help me with a dilemma. I'm torn between getting a second set of Horn and Ring or a Twilight Falls City skin. I'm 48k coins away from the City skin, and I'm many materials away from crafting the Ring and Horn. Oh, if you don't have like a 10% skin already, Isaac, then I would definitely get Twilight Falls. Yeah, Twilight Falls is fantastic, especially if you have like a variety of troop types, which I would recommend. It sounds like you're a fairly new player, so I would recommend like doing like 2 cav, 2 infantry, 1 archer, something like that. Yeah, Twilight Falls, I would get Twilight Falls. It's really good. It's really, really good. Especially if you're just like open field. If you're like an open field player, you're not like a garrison player. Twilight Falls is great. Like you could do Twilight Falls plus like Ottoman, and then you just like hit harder for sure. I'm not sure if I should just pocket the prince for later or just grab the skin. I mean, so first of all, Horn is not anywhere near as big of a priority as Ring. Like Ring's a lot better than Horn. But I mean, if you're not gonna be able to make like, if the choice is literally, do you want to go into the next KvK with either 1 additional Ring or a Twilight Falls, I would get the Twilight Falls. And then by the way, you can like you can use your materials for something else as well, you know. Well, that's fine, Bomber. I was trying to figure out what was happening. I was like, what's going on? All right, hopefully these opponents are a little bit more our level. No, these people are insanely strong. There's someone from Akon here. All right. Oh, guys, we have so many people here bottom. We probably don't need 3 down here. Bomber should maybe go middle. Oh, we're getting middle. Nice. Nice. Yeah, here, let's cover these guys. Let's just kill them. Let's kill them. Why can't I zoom? There we go. All right, we delivered the golden apple as well. That's awesome. I'm not moving. That's scuffed. All right, good start. Good start. Good start. All right, so next apple is up now. Hopefully me and Banks can just heal and then go middle. And overwhelm them mid. Hopefully they're not grabbing the apple too fast. Oh, they haven't gone to the apple again. That's good. I'm just going to spread around, grab the apple from all directions, make it hard for them to disrupt all of us. Look at this nice micro by your favorite YouTuber. Doesn't matter though, because Palmer didn't grab it, or that guy didn't grab it. Palmer, I think you ran away too fast. Here, let's go to the bottom right corner. Easy, easy. We don't even need you. You guys can go somewhere else. Like somebody can go to a different flag. We don't all need to go here. It's like totally safe. I got this. I got this. You know what? I'm just going to go down here. Actually, let me cover this. Let me cover this. All right, so I know there's going to be a fight here. So I'll start rage loading now. Let's see how much rage I have when we actually attack this guy. Not really very much. I guess a little bit on the Nevsky. Oh, I shouldn't have switched off the Trajan until it was dead. Why? I feel like the apple is up. Looks like we're getting the apple. All right. We're getting the apple? Yeah. Oh, you know, we have this guy from 1753 who's crushing. An E53. We fought them in Osiris League. Yep. Nice win. Nice freaking win. I thought that would be good because they had somebody from Akon, which is 1671. But they didn't play very good. Yeah, I think doing like rage loading correctly with the skill I have, it's got to be like extremely strong, right? If you go into a fight with like a half bar of rage and your enemy has like a 0 bar of rage, I mean, that's like a massive advantage. Massive advantage. All right, Banks, I buffed your Guan, so you should be wrecking with the Guan this one. I gave you an extra 5% of stats, or maybe it's like 8% of stats. My Nevsky's like so much faster than my other marches. I really don't want to engage until they all get here. I think we might have just played this dude. I forgot to preload. I forgot to preload. Yeah, let's kill the Guan. Let's get that silence out of there. And then let's go to the Nevsky. I'll let him run. I'll let him run. We never took our opening one, and they never took their opening one either. Holy crap! All right, that's bad. That's bad. That was a bad ambush right there. All right, he's letting me get away. That's good. I've never seen that before. Where neither team, at the beginning of the match, neither team took their starting flag. All right, so I just have to take this fight. All right. Close match, boys. This is unranked. Yeah, it's unranked. So it's casual, Isaac. If you want to play, just say so in chat. I'll throw you a message or an invite. All right, how many do they have here? They just have one person here? All right, I'm gonna make the. I'll be the difference maker in this fight. That's fine. Or they can just run and I'll take the flag. That's also acceptable. Well, it looks like we're losing at this point. So they're all over the thief. Unfortunately. I'm not going to surrender just yet. Kind of a close match. Oh shit, I'm not microing at all here. Alright, Banks, I think we're in trouble on this flag. Let's go up here. Let's go. I'm gonna say no, even though like we're probably gonna lose. I don't know. Alright, Banks, let's take this fight. Let's take this fight. Oh, can I not do this in this? I feel like we can stage a miracle comeback here. I feel like we can legit stage a miracle comeback. Alright, Banks is in the perfect position to cover that flag. I'm going here. I'm going here. Yep, I'm going here. I'm gonna help. I'm helping here. Is the Boudica not targeting? Alright, I don't think I attacked very well there. But I did rage load everyone, so maybe we're okay. This is a close match. This is a freaking close match right here. It's 2-2. What the heck is happening? We have to defend this. Of course, we have this defended. Like, they're never getting this one. I think we just win. Easy. 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 Nice one. Very nice. Banks, I feel like you played very well there. Like you were at that last flag, like our home flag. You were at that home flag, like right near the end. And you were like covering that flag before anyone else got there. That was a nice win. Bomber, nice one, dude. Bomber picking up some kills with the Boudica. Or not with the Boudica, with the Belisarius. Bomber with a pretty nice KDA there with the Belisarius, so. And we beat we beat the guy that was with our teammate last time. We beat this dude from any 53, and we beat a player from Whom as well, which Whom is like a old school alliance that's pretty well known. And this person was in champion above. How did we beat somebody who? Wait, what just happened? How did we beat someone who has ranked in champion above? How did we beat them? Oh, this guy's probably a beast. But he didn't even have a good record. How did we win that? I don't understand. How did we win that? Look at this. They're all from like Ascendant, Sage, and Champions of Above. And we beat them with Bomber running an Alex and a Belisarius primary. That is a sick win right there. That might be the greatest win I've ever seen. I think I'm gonna leave just because I think we got our rewards there. And if so, we should end on a high note. Upset of the century. That was a huge upset right there. And you know, it's all recorded for posterity. Where we just outplayed. Oh, MTG. MTG. Wasn't someone asking about that earlier? When's MTG? There it is. Banks was running Scipio Richard, Constantine Alex, and Guan Leo. Some classic old school combinations with the new school Scipio thrown in there. Unbelievable. Well, Banks, I don't know if you know this, but infantry is like super OP in Champions of Olympia. Like all the strongest COO players are running like all infantry marches. Or at least like 2 infantry marches, but generally 3. Like 3 infantry marches is literally like the meta in COO. So Banks, you are meta there with your Scipio Richard, Constantine Alex, Guan Leo. Oh, Bomber, did you have Alex Lucci? Is the Lucci maxed? Well, that was fun. That was actually a lot of fun right there. Definitely enjoyed playing Olympia with you guys, and hell of a win to cap it off. I think we went 3-1, if I'm not wrong. We lost that first match, or did we lose 2 matches? No. We went 3-1, right? And somebody was trying to vote. Remember, we almost voted that as a loss, but we held out. We held out because we believed. And then we pulled the upset of the century. Hopefully the very same thing happens in this KvK. Well, I got a full Julius Caesar, but Caesar is already maxed, so that's not very exciting. Yeah, we lost 1. We went 3-1. That was sick. Or maybe we went 2-1. I don't even know. Anyway. I think I'm gonna wrap the stream at this point. I do want to thank everyone who was checking in, active in the chat, or just lurking. Respect to everyone who tuned in. Thank you for throwing a like on the stream. Shout out to the members who were in the chat, Algebra, and I think it was only Algebra, but shout out to Algebra for being in the chat. Shout out to the Handsome Devils for playing a great KvK, a KvK that we can really be proud of. Shout out to Fatty for being in the chat tonight and being magnanimous. I thought we, I think we talked like war leaders. Well, I think we talked like a few great war leaders should talk, which is respectfully, and we talked about tactics, and I think it's been a very good war, and all respect to both our allies and our enemies. And by this time next Friday, we will be in Kingsland, and we will be seeing what happens with this very epic fight. And I can guarantee you that you will hear more from Camp Bourbon, because we are not done fighting either. So shout out to all of those different parties. And I'm going to try and redirect now to Plato's stream. Let's see if... yep. So I'm going to redirect everybody now to Plato's stream. Go ahead and say Brian Raid in Plato's stream. He's live streaming fighting in the big KvK with 60 GT and 2268. So that should actually be really good content. I will probably hang out and watch that myself after I go and grab a cold drink. So yeah, I'm going to redirect you to Plato. Go ahead and let him know that it was a Brian Raid. And until next time, I will see you all on the flip side.